Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony, hoping to get Democratic support for his Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch. President Trump will have lunch with 4 senators who are considered more moderate from traditionally Republican states the day after he was critical of the judiciary.
Courts seem to be so political.
This as we await the appeals court ruling on his still blocked executive order halting travel from 7 predominantly Muslim countries deemed terror threats.
Apparently, Judge Gorsuch himself is not a fan of the president's language towards judges. That's according to Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal, who privately met with Gorsuch this week.
He certainly expressed to me that he is disheartened by the demoralizing and abhorrent comments.
And at the same time, a new poll from Politico suggests there is growing support for the president's temporary ban on immigration, with more than half of those polled saying they approve of it.
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney. More than 24 refugees from Yemen arrived in L.A. yesterday. Their invalidated visas validated after a judge put a stay on the president's order. The U.S. has a new Attorney General. Jeff Sessions will be sworn in the morning after the Republican senator was confirmed with just 1 Democrat supporting him.
I have been given a real challenge. I'll do my best to be worthy of it.
The Senate could vote early tomorrow morning at like 3 a.m. on Congressman Tom Price for Health and Human Services. Democrats also don't support him. The snow is starting to really come down in Pennsylvania as a big winter storm moves in.
Visibility is going to be difficult. This is all going to be during the rush hour.
John Krafchick with the Department of Transportation. Schools are closed from Philadelphia up to Boston, where Mayor Marty Walsh says they'll get
wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour with a wind chill factor of -7.
Some areas will get over a foot of snow, and it's affecting more than just the roads. Nearly 3,000 flights are canceled, most of them either into or out of Boston, New York, Newark, and Philly. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
14 degrees, cloudy skies, winds out of the north at 15. That will give us a wind chill this early morning of 3 below zero. 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. 1 person is in critical condition following an officer-involved shooting near Union Station. Officials say an Amtrak police officer shot that victim last night near the area of Van Buren and Canal. The officer was not hurt. Streets are temporarily closed while authorities investigate. President Trump blaming undocumented immigrants in part for causing a portion of Chicago's violence. Speaking at a law enforcement gathering in Washington, D.C., the president claimed some of the city's problems are caused by gang members who are not in the country legally.
More than 4,000 people were shot last year alone, and the rate so far this year has been even higher. What is going on in Chicago?
The president yesterday. Democrats in the Illinois Senate say they're not giving up just yet. Leaders of the so-called grand bargain still alive, they say, despite yesterday's collapse. Not a single Republican voted for the bargain's reforms. The son of the late Robert F. Kennedy entering the 2018 Illinois race for governor.
I'm running for governor because the state is headed in the wrong direction. I believe in working with others and not telling them what to do. I believe that compromise is not surrender. That's how I think our state should work.
Chicago businessman Chris Kennedy announcing his candidacy yesterday in a YouTube video. He's been critical of Governor Otter's job performance in the past. 2 are in custody following a police investigation that caused a soft lockdown of several suburban Elmwood Park schools. Officials say authorities were pursuing a suspected stolen vehicle when it crashed in the village near 73rd and Bloomingdale. The students did remain in the schools until the two suspects were arrested. Lyle's mayor says he's thrilled he doesn't have to convince local voters that he doesn't want to merge the city with neighboring suburbs. The judge yesterday tossing out a ballot question that would merge Lisle and a handful of other cities with Naperville. None of the mayors in the cities want to merge or ever supported the proposed ballot question. The judge in the case said the still unidentified supporters of that plan failed to gain enough signatures. Police in Forest Park are providing new details about last Friday's officer-involved shooting. Deputy Chief Michael Keating tells us 26-year-old Marco Gomez was driving a stolen car near Jackson and Harlem when the officer approached on foot and stood in front of the car. Keating says Gomez drove the car at the officer, who then fired into the vehicle because he felt his life was in danger. The Illinois State Police Integrity Squad is investigating that shooting. The union representing CTA bus drivers and mechanics are demanding this morning the agency replace the portable toilets they currently use with permanent ones. Amalgamated Transit Union President Tommy Sam says workers don't want to use the portable toilets because many aren't very fresh. Some are located in dangerous neighborhoods. Sam's had some bus drivers actually wear adult diapers on their routes because they may not be close to a CTA facility or local business that may let them use a bathroom. Golden State beat the Bulls 123-92 last night. Jonathan Taves, a power play winner in overtime. Blackhawks over the Wild 4-3. Veteran winger Marty Havlat hanging up his skates. 35-year-old's best season came here in Chicago in 08-09 when he recorded 77 points in 81 games. College hoops, Xavier over DePaul. UNI slipped past Southern Illinois in the Valley, while Evansville clipped Loyola. Indiana State topped Bradley. The news, a service of Connect Better. When you connect better, everything comes together. Join the more than 3 million people who use GoToMeeting every month. Connect with their team and try it free at gotomeeting.com. 5:06, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
A new president has taken office, and now he must get to work. What will President Trump accomplish in his first 100 days? What should his priorities be? Join AM 560 for an exciting evening on Wednesday, March 22nd. It's Trump, the first 100 days, featuring Sean Hannity, Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, and Joe Walsh. See them all live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Don't like what the big banks have been doing lately? Time to call Townstone. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Do you have a jumbo mortgage, great credit, just want a smooth refinance with low or no closing costs and a great rate? Townstone Financial is the place to contact. We beat the big banks every day, and that's not just a saying. I had a call last week on a jumbo mortgage where a bank was charging $5,000 in closing costs. Not only was Townstone able to do the loan for no closing costs, but we were also able to beat the big bank's interest rate by a quarter point. Do yourself a favor. Check with Townstone before you refinance your mortgage or start a new home purchase. We will compete with anyone. Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
5:07. Let's get a check of the roads in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Cicero, there's a fire at the 5300 block of Ogden Avenue in Central and Laramie. We're told it's a muffler shop. Crash involving a car to a building at the northwest side. Mercy and Costner and Pulaski. On the Kennedy, express lanes just opened up on the inbound side. Not seeing any delays. The overnight work has wrapped up. Delays on the inbound Rhine due to construction. Stop and go from Cermak to the Burn Circle. 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. And 2 left lanes are reopening now downtown. Outbound, 2 left lanes are closed. 87th split till 6 this morning. Other expressways and tollways are good, despite those wind gusts. Traffic service of Hum by Verizon. Kids borrowing the car? Now with Hum by Verizon, you can get notifications if they're driving too fast or going places they shouldn't. Find out how to make your car smarter, safer, and more connected with Hum by Verizon. Visit hum.com today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. We get the update from our meteorologist, Michael Stack.
Plenty of sunshine, but very cold out today. High 24, seasonably cold with patchy clouds tonight. Low 17, milder and breezy with mostly cloudy skies. Friday's high 43 and a bit milder with mostly cloudy skies. Saturday high 50. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 14 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, it was not without incident, but yesterday evening, Senator Jeff Sessions became Attorney General Jeff Sessions, 52-47 split. I think it was Manchin was the only Democrat to vote for Sessions, so basically a party line vote, but Jeff Sessions is your Attorney General, not without incident.
Yeah, left some bruises along the way, huh?
We talked yesterday about Senator Crocajewea Pocahontas, who took to the floor to read a letter from Martin Luther King Jr.'s widow, and she was subsequently censured by the Senate, silenced by the Senate for violating protocol, which really played into her hands, I think. I think that was the whole purpose of her little exercise.
And now she's the next, big contender for the Democratic Party for the presidential election in 2020.
Right. Yeah, it's a real battle royale, but Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Al Franken. Boy.
They got some doozies over there on the Democratic side, but I don't understand why. So then after that happened, different male senators took to the floor, and they were able to read the rest of the letter. I don't know why. Why they censured her? They told her to sit down, but why? So the other Senate Democrats were able to read the letter. I don't know how it works.
She violated the protocol. She was called on it by Mitch McConnell. If somebody violates the protocol, they have to be called on it, I suppose, for them to be silenced. The whole thing is a bit immaterial. Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina, of course, the African-American Republican senator, said, basically Warren should be allowed to read the letter. Let her read the letter. So
for him to nitpick about that it kind of catapulted her into the limelight again.
And manufactures a controversy that's unnecessary. The real issue here is the bigot baiting of the left, and that was on full display with respect to the Jeff Sessions nomination. And Tim Scott, speaking of Tim Scott, he took to the Senate floor to endorse Jeff Sessions, whom he voted to confirm, African-American from South Carolina, and also shared some of the response that he's gotten from the tolerant, enlightened left to his decision.
I go on to read from folks who wanted to share their opinions about my endorsing Jeff Sessions. You are a disgrace to the black race. Anthony Burnham at Burnham R says, you are an Uncle Tom Scott. You're for Sessions. How does a black man turn on his own? Anthony B. from at Political Art says, Senator Tim Scott is not an Uncle Tom. He doesn't have a shred of honor. He's a house Negro, like the one in Django. He also writes, I guess Anthony Burnham has been fairly active recently on my Twitter feed, I'm a complete horror. A black man who's a racist against black people, a big Uncle Tom piece of fertilizer. Think for yourselves. You are a disgrace to your race. I left out all the ones that use the N-word. Just felt like that would not be appropriate. You see, what I'm surprised by, just a smidgen, is that the liberal left that speaks and desires for all of us to be tolerant do not want to be tolerant of anyone that disagrees with where they are coming from.
Yeah, that's pretty clear, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty clear. This is sort of, example number 1,490 bajillion with respect to that file of the left is tolerant right up until you disagree. And so Tim Scott, African-American senator, felt some of that. Nothing he's not used to. He went on to say, look, as somebody who came out as a black conservative, I expected a lot of what I'm getting, expected to be criticized. But, to the personal nature of it, and you're a sellout to your race and all of the racial epithets directed his way, and that is to be treated with a shoulder shrug by the D.C. press corps, by the public at large. I mean, certainly those that are center left. But anything that, if you disagreed with Obama on a substantive matter, you were a racist. Right. I mean, it's fascinating to try and kind of follow the logic of the left. I mean, I suppose the point is there is no logic, and that was brought home by Bill Nelson, who is the skeletal senator from Florida, a Democrat.
Why do you say that? Skeletal.
Because he looks like a skeleton.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
So he's got manorexia?
He's like
I shouldn't joke around.
250 years old.
Okay.
And he this is a great concession that he makes unintentionally about what the Democrats not only want it to be, need it to be. What the Democrats need it to be successful, at least in their minds. This is their playbook. The playbook is it's got to be 1963 Selma.
But one thing has not changed. The right to vote for all children in America is still under assault. Unbelievably, we are not so very far from the problems of 1963. Despite the passage of time and landmark civil and voting rights legislation, 5 decades later.
See, it's still we're still under Jim Crow, which, by the way, government, Democrats mainly. We still have poll taxes. We still don't have the franchise equally extended. That's the argument that they make, that this is still the 1963 South. That's what America is writ large. Does anybody believe that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I mean, anybody believe that that's where we're at? We're not so far away from 1963.
Well, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, tweeted this morning, if Jeff Sessions makes even the tiniest attempt to bring his racism, sexism, and bigotry into the Justice Department, he'll hear from all of us.
Right. That's it has to be. It is all they don't. There's no intellectual case. So it is isms and phobias, and we're stuck in time in 1963 if you disagree with the left. No progress has been made. Really. And, all of the concerns raised by the right, since Nelson brought up voting rights, they're just fantasy designed to suppress minority turnout. We have just a case study in Illinois. We talked about yesterday, a story that was reported in one of the newspapers I co-founded, SagamonSun.com.
This is your side hustle.
Sort of.
We can have a segment.
I have many side hustles.
Side hustle. I know.
Yeah.
This is just one of your side hustles.
But
Get your side hustle on.
So that news story.
Yeah, what did it say?
Illinois State Board of Elections records. rough numbers, 50,000 duplicate records, 25,000 Illinois residents that are on the voter rolls with unique voter IDs at least twice. There are a handful of examples where it's 3 and 4 times. So the potential for voter fraud. And so when you raise that issue and you present the state data to suggest there may be, at minimum, a record-keeping problem, is that trying to suppress the vote of minorities or anybody else, other than the second or third or fourth vote of people that are on the rolls a second and a third and a fourth time? I mean, it's just, I'd love to hear from somebody on the center left about these things. How embarrassing the Bill Nelsons and the Elizabeth Warrens and the Bernie Sanders and just the whole radical, gender and race-obsessed, bigot-baiting left is.
Well, I mean,
it's still 1963. Come on.
But he even won an NAACP award. Jeff Sessions did in 2009. They honored him at their Civic and Human Rights Convention, and the placard, which I'm looking at, says "for the outstanding work that you do."
Yeah, but now
anybody bring that up?
No, he's got to be stopped though. So everything's out the window. It's like Elizabeth Warren's. Speaking of hypocrisy, in 2003, the book she wrote in 2003, she's a proponent of a all voucher public school system. Now let's try charter schools. All voucher public school system in a book in 2003 called The Two Income Trap. And 13 years later, when she's a big shot U.S. senator, wanting to continue to climb the ladder, run for president, as you suggested. Oh,
they asked her about that yesterday.
Do I gotta throw kids over the side? No problem. Who else? I will throw anybody and everybody under the bus and over the side and torch the whole thing down if you provide the path for political power for me, because that's what this is about.
Oh, and Elizabeth Warren was asked yesterday, hey, they told you to stop talking. Why did you continue?
If you knew it was potentially a violation when they warned you, why not just move on?
Give me a break.
I was moving on. I was moving on to talk about the facts of what Jeff Sessions had done when he prosecuted civil rights workers who were trying to help black citizens vote.
Blah, blah, blah. Softball question. I mean, just give me a break. Give me a break with Elizabeth Warren. Give me a break with these people. I mean, how anybody really listens to that pablum and says, yeah, they really have a point. Bill Nelson's right. It's 1963 Selma. Come on, folks.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Quite cold with some sunshine today. That'll be good, but a high of 25 degrees. Tonight, a low of 18. And for tomorrow, it's going to be mostly cloudy, breezy, milder, a high of 42 degrees. Let's get into it. The new Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Northwest side of Chicago, Diversey is closed now between Costner and Pulaski. It's been a crash involving a car into a building. The 4200 block of West Diversey. Cicero, a fire is affecting Ogden Avenue in central Laramie. Ogden is open, only from the roof of a muffler shop on the 5300 block of Ogden. The Kennedy is fine. Express lanes have opened on the inbound side. Inbound Ryan, stop and go 75th before the Skyway. Got a crash in the 3 right lanes. Then having 18th to the Burn Circle where some road work is cleared. It's about 20 minutes from 95th to downtown. The other expressways and tollways look pretty good. Bishop Ford, a little congested. Cottage Grove to the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Running a business can be challenging, especially in Illinois. You face mountains of regulations, taxes, fees, and more may be coming. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized, and that's what we're doing here at AM560theanswer.com. And AM560 The Answer, just the radio station. This spring, we have been hitting the road on the AM560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank. We were just at Service Master in Downers Grove yesterday. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. Think of it as making businesses great again. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients and your community. We're going to select several more businesses as stops on our AM560 Business Tour, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. Again, 560theanswer.com/business, and we may be stopping by your business this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour, sponsored by Signature Bank.
If you're planning for the future and focused on growing your portfolio, pay attention to this message. Are you properly positioned to take advantage of changing markets? The Investor Education Institute is conducting a 3-session course on how to spot potential wealth-building opportunities. Call 800-504-8505 right now because these courses are limited to 20 attendees per session and can sell out quickly. You'll learn about the differences between passive and proactive investment strategies, something the big Wall Street firms typically won't teach you. Most importantly, you'll have access to the cutting-edge research, market studies, and proprietary software to help you determine market trends and potential turning points. These tools are designed to help you seek out potential wealth-building opportunities, help you avoid areas of risk, and eliminate decisions based on fear and emotions. Take back control of your financial future. Call the Investor Education Institute right now at 800-504-8505 before this event sells out. That's 800-504-8505. Or register online at instituteforinvestors.com.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high-production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 10,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking about the Jeff Sessions confirmation as Attorney General. Oh, Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Okay, so last night on the news, I heard this story that there are so many thousands of federal employees who are anti-Trump and hate Trump that they are establishing these secret communication lines to undo anything that the administration comes up with. And this is especially true with the EPA, which really frightened me. So while we're all watching Elizabeth Warren and Keith Elias and all these people, where the damage is really going to be done is within the federal government and the thousands of federal employees who are out to get Trump at every measure and the Trump administration. And it was really a stark, eye-opening report of how dangerous it is to ever now try and synthesize the government. It's virtually impossible because the people who you're trying to, like the EPA, cut in half, are so out to get you and the media is on their side. It's impossible. So while we're all talking about Elizabeth Warren, there's too much going on in the federal government that we're not seeing.
Well, it's too big. Thanks for the call. It's too big, but it's not impossible. That's why you have you select agency directors like Scott Pruitt to head up the EPA, like Jeff Sessions to head up Justice, like Betsy DeVos to head up Education. That's the whole point of personnel being policy. And then you unleash those directors to do their job, to reduce the size and bring into line, consistent with federal law and the Constitution, the operation of those agencies. And in addition to that, as Trump has already telegraphed, reduce the overall size of the federal government in terms of headcount. So, nothing is impossible. Yes, nothing is going to come to pass without a fight. That's always the case when you're trying to structurally reform something. But I wouldn't throw up my hands. I mean, we haven't even had these agency directors really get into their positions. I mean, many are obviously still waiting for confirmation. A handful have been confirmed, mostly in the national security space.
But we're still,
so
labor
in terms of the federal bureaucracy.
Are they going to do this for Pudzer?
What, because of the housekeeper?
Because of yes. Or possibly because of his, exploitation, allegedly, of women in his commercials on his Carl Jr. ads. Because he's going to be...
That's a selling point. Carl Jr.'s ads. That's why I think he's going to be confirmed.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hello, everyone, and here we go again with Karen Lewis and the Chicago Teachers Union demanding more money from the Chicagoland taxpayers. Well, I say enough is enough. The teachers get paid from the property taxes that homeowners pay every year. If the Teachers Union gets more money, that means your property taxes are going to go higher. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent representative for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. For months now, I have been telling you about purchasing health savings account PPO plans that will cost you approximately 40% less in monthly premiums than you're currently paying now. Well, the same thing applies to the Teachers Union. I can show the union that they can purchase a more comprehensive health insurance plan that is in full compliance with the Affordable Care Act and will cost the taxpayers up to 40% less in monthly health insurance premiums. For more information, you can call me at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashava, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump has some more judicial commentary. We'll tackle it at 5:38.
And why some CTA drivers are wearing diapers. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
14 degrees, cloudy skies, wind chill of 3 below, and today will be a snow day across the nation's northeast.
Anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of snow in the Boston area. Temperatures are going to be very cold, falling to 17 degrees by 5 p.m.
Here's how it impacts you. It's an airline problem as flights are canceled along the East Coast. They will back up here into the major hubs at O'Hare and elsewhere around the Midwest. 6 Red Cross employees are dead after an attack in Afghanistan. International Committee of the Red Cross Director Yves Decour says he was devastated by the news.
It seems first impossible. It was a region we knew very well. It's really very, very experienced colleagues. And then knowing that they've been killed, attacked directly, is the worst possible news.
The employees delivering relief supplies to an area crippled by a massive snowstorm. Federal judge blocking health insurer Anthem's bid to merge with rival Cigna, citing competition concerns. Alabama Republican Jeff Sessions is the new U.S. Attorney General.
This is a well-qualified colleague with a deep reverence for the law. He believes strongly in the equal application of it to everyone.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, President Trump's nominee for Health and Human Services, today headed for a final vote in the Senate after Republicans successfully broke a Democratic filibuster to advance the nomination of Representative Tom Price. A former NSA contractor accused of stealing massive amounts of classified information now faces an indictment by a federal grand jury. Harold Martin is charged with 20 counts. Prosecutors say Martin had top secret national clearance when he stole highly classified information for 2 decades, beginning in 1996. One person is in critical condition following an officer-involved shooting here in Chicago near Union Station overnight. 2 are in custody following a police investigation that caused a soft lockdown of several suburban Elmwood Park schools. A Chicago man is charged with a hate crime after police say he vandalized a Chicago Loop synagogue. Stuart Wright is accused of placing several swastika stickers on the front doors of the downtown house of worship. Golden State beat the Bulls. Blackhawks an overtime win over the Wild. Number 24 Xavier overcomes DePaul, while Evansville clipped Loyola. The news, a service of ADT, the security leader for 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, all you care about. When you have ADT's security, it's more than a sign in your yard. It's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the left to keep quiet.
We keep hearing about what we are. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. That's become the left's mantra all of a sudden. I love them telling us who we are. You know who we are? We're a country that elected the person you didn't want to win. Who we are is not who you wanted us to be.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
5:35. Let's get a check of the roads in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the northwest side of Chicago, Diversity is closed between Coster and Pulaski due to a crash. Edens and Kennedy are fine right now. Leave about Eisenhower. Stop and go Coster to Holman for this crash in the left lane. 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. On Stevenson, delays start at Central. 36 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. On Ryan, jamming up now from the merge to before the Skyway. There's a crash in the 3 right lanes. 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. 57, 17 minutes, ID to the merge, Mission 420. Traffic is a service of Connect Better. When you connect better, everything comes together. Join the more than 3 million people who use GoToMeeting every month to connect with their team. Try it free at GoToMeeting.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Quite cold with sunshine today, high 25. Seasonably cold overnight, patchy clouds, low 18, high of 42 tomorrow. Currently 15. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And yesterday, President Trump was before the National Sheriff's Association talking about security, both international and domestic, and had some comments about the judicial wrangling over his executive order, the so-called federal district judge, as he so termed him, and in advance of the Ninth Circuit ruling, he sort of held his powder, but he did have some advice for that appellate court.
But I have to be honest that if these judges wanted to, in my opinion, help the court in terms of respect for the court, they do what they should be doing. I mean, it's so sad. They should be, when you read something so simple.
Yeah, so they will take that under judicial notice, I'm sure. He went on to talk about the politicization of our courts.
And I don't ever want to call a court biased, so I won't call it biased. And we haven't had a decision yet. But courts seem to be so political, and it would be so great for our justice system if they would be able to read a statement and do what's right.
He has a point on particularly on that second bite we played. I mean, we've mentioned this before. Look, a lot of these courts and judges, the courts have become supra-legislative bodies, and the judges have become like legislators. They take a legal position regardless of what the Constitution provides or federal statutes demand, and they take a political position, and then they bootstrap a legal argument to get to the political position that they have on a particular matter. That's a problem. That's not the role of the judiciary, and it is a corruption of the judiciary.
But isn't it completely disrespectful to say this so-called judge?
It's not a compliment.
No, it's not. But I mean, it's not appropriate. And even his Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch, was meeting, with different senators, Republicans and Democrats alike, getting to know each other, going on first dates. And he was with Senator Richard Blumenthal. And Senator Blumenthal told reporters yesterday that he said, Neil Gorsuch said that it was demoralizing and disheartening that Donald Trump characterized them very specifically in that way.
Well, so two things about that. Gorsuch is somebody who does understand the role of the judiciary, and he takes it very seriously, and that is punctuated by his actual record on the appellate court, the holdings he has rendered. And then secondly, pretty politically savvy.
You think so?
Pretty politically savvy.
I mean, saying that he was disheartened by Trump's tweet on the judiciary.
I mean, I think that's probably Gorsuch's honest opinion. I don't know the man, but I suspect just from what we have read about him and what people who do know him, Eugene Volokh, UCLA law professor who knows him, who we've spoken with, and Randy Barnett down at Georgetown Law and others, that's his actual opinion. But it also is very politically helpful because it shows separation from the president, and particularly when you're meeting with Democrat senators and you're, essentially trying to enlist the support of Democrat senators. So this could be a relatively quick and easy confirmation, which I suspect ultimately it's going to be. It has the added political benefit, but I think Gorsuch's comment is his true feeling because of the high esteem he holds the judiciary in, the awesome responsibility he feels for the position he is in an appellate court, much less the prospect of being on the high court. So I don't think Trump's comment was necessary, but that's Trump. And I at some point, we're just going to have to kind of build into the price and get over living and dying and shaking our heads at every personal comment Trump makes. I mean, we talked about this with the judge back in the campaign of Mexican heritage, who he criticized because he didn't like a ruling. We talked about that with the Khan family, unnecessary criticism, getting too personal, being baited into that. Although I'm not sure he even needs to be baited. I'm not even sure that that's a proper description. I think that's who he is. He's not particularly thick-skinned.
He's an old man, and he's not going to change.
Well, he's not. And so
I keep telling people, and it's...
Well, he's not. And so, I mean, it's very much like Obama. You build in, look, how many times over the course of 8 years do I have to make the case that Obama is a pseudo-intellectual sophist? That, how many times do we have to break down his straw man arguments? How many times do we have to pretend that he is nothing more, or explain, I should say, that he is nothing more than a more well-spoken race hustler of the community organizer ilk, like you see Sharpton on MSNBC, or Jackson here, or Flager here, or everybody else that seems to reside in Chicago. I mean, so, it's like we're sawing sawdust a little bit with commenting on Trump's personal comments. It's not my personality. It's a personality that a lot of people would find distasteful, particularly from the President of the United States. I understand it. We've openly disagreed with a lot of the things Trump has chosen to say and the way he's chosen to say them. But, I mean, you can only be outraged over the same conduct so many times and offer the same commentary so many times without it becoming a bit redundant, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
And on that point, here, let's hear more of Trump.
Because you could be a lawyer, or you don't have to be a lawyer. If you were a good student in high school or a bad student in high school, you can understand this. And it's really incredible to me that we have a court case that's going on so long.
I mean, I love that. That
yeah.
covers a lot of turf. I think that incorporates basically all 330 million people in this country. Good student or bad student in high school, lawyer or non-lawyer.
Right. And it's going on for so long. They'll have render a decision by the end of today.
Lawyer or non-lawyer actually covers all 330 million people. You either are one or you aren't one. But the point he's making is everybody can understand this, even a terrible high school student. But hey, that's not an insult to any of the judges on the Ninth Circuit, the 3-judge panel from the Ninth Circuit.
I mean, it's got to affect their decision when he hurls insults at him like that.
I don't know about that.
Of course it does.
You've got an Obama appointee and a Carter appointee as two of the three. I'm not sure anything he can say, positive or negative, is going to affect their decision. I suspect we've got a couple of activist judges there on that
at least
3-judge panel, but we'll see.
At least they're
lifetime
appointments.
Surprised before.
Lifetime appointments, so they don't have to worry about losing their jobs.
Oh yeah, that's the good news.
That's what you're right. But I mean, that's what the left was saying.
They're
not going to lose their jobs.
On the substance of the topic, there is a really interesting piece by Byron York in the Washington Examiner. The challenge to Trump's order, a lot of it's about money, talking about the challenge to Trump's executive order. Remember, it's coming from Washington State. That's the case that's been taken up. That's the case that received the injunction, and this is the case being taken up by the Ninth Circuit. York makes the point that judging by briefs filed by Washington State, as well as statements made by its representatives, some of the state's top priorities in challenging Trump's executive order on the temporary ban. 1, to ensure an uninterrupted supply of relatively low-wage H-1B foreign workers for Microsoft and other state businesses. 2, to ensure a continued flow of high tuition-paying foreign student visa holders. Could add Illinois to that list, U of I. And 3, to preserve the flow of tax revenues that result from those and other sources. So, for all of the high-minded rhetoric coming from opponents of the temporary travel ban, there may be real financial interest driving this. It may not be all that happy talk about inclusivity and diversity. It may be very bottom-line oriented, the move that is being made on the Trump executive order by well-heeled and well-financed interests. So just an interesting point, and that's extracted from the briefs that were actually filed by Washington State. It's a good point that Byron York raises. Greg in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy, you just made the statement that Trump is an old man and he's never going to change, and thus from possibly a relative old man. If Trump were not bringing this up, who would be? And why wouldn't it be legitimate for him to do so, given that people are ruling outside of what their jurisdiction should be as judges? Did you hear anybody doing that during the Obama administration? Not a chance. So therefore, to move the pendulum in society, Trump is doing it rather inelegantly at times, but definitely needs to be done.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Greg.
does the executive branch make derogatory comments about the judiciary?
I think the issue is...
I don't remember this happening before.
I think... Well, sure it's happened. I think that Greg makes the right point. It's fine to raise the issue of an activist judiciary or an activist judge, a judge or a court operating outside of its charter to interpret the law. The problem is when Trump does it inelegantly. So-called judge is not a substantive point. That's just
a graduate from high school could figure this one out.
Right. It's just ad hominem. So if he said something like, look, we've got a problem here where these judges think they're legislators, the judicial branch thinks it's the executive branch, that's a legitimate point to raise.
Yes, but he doesn't say it that way. The man is not refined with his rhetoric.
He says it in the way that Trump says things.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, could your CTA bus driver this morning be wearing diapers? But first...
Reason I don't take the bus.
What smells in here? But first, here's your forecast. Quite cold today, but plenty of sunshine that's going to be real nice to see. It's been a while. A high of 25 degrees tonight, a low of 18. And for Friday, big fun Friday, it's going to be mostly cloudy, breezy and milder, a high of 42 lovely degrees. Let's go into the newly painted Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Amy and Dan, good morning. The drivers on the 76 route this morning might need some extra diapers because buses are being rerouted on Diversey. And the 4200 block of West Diversey, there's a crash, and Diversey's closed right now from Costner and Pulaski, so the buses and everybody else has to go around it. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy looking good, too, but the inbound Eisenhower has a jam from Cicero to Holman. It's a crash in the two left lanes. It is 40 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine at 34. The Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. A crash before the Skyway has cleared now. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the Ryan, Bishop Ford, 29 minutes. Tollways are fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, no more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Hey, Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor.
Man, my voice is high. I need that low. I think I've got low T. My voice is way too high.
That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. Oh, that's nice. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nappy, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. That's a great place. I've been there many times. They accept most health insurance and have flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't put it off any longer.
Amy's transitioning.
I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them Dan Proft sent you. 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Or go to lowtcenter.com.
There's bound to be a good reason when a local startup company becomes an industry leader in only 5 years. Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting achieved this success by offering highly skilled professional services at highly competitive prices. Business owners, project managers, field supervisors, and procurement managers from many of Chicagoland's top companies depend on Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting. They specialize in industrial, heavy highway, and commercial projects requiring concrete cutting, core drilling, as well as wall, slab, chain, wire, and ring sawing. Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting will complete your project on time and on budget. Demolition and sealing services such as silicone and hot tar are also available. For an estimate or questions about your project needs, call Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting, the cutting edge in concrete cutting today at 773-282-2CUT. That's 773-282-2288. Or visit ChicagoCutConcreteCutting.com.
Remember the old song, Love and Marriage go together like a horse and carriage? Dad was told by Mother, you can't have one without the other. That's the message that Scott Phelps, Executive Director of the Abstinence and Marriage Education Partnership, brings to students in schools across the country. Using 5 character-based abstinence education programs which he authored, Mr. Phelps conducts training seminars nationally for parents and teachers to effectively communicate the benefits of abstinence in marriage to youth. A&M programs have reached over 1.5 million teens across all 50 states. Join Catholic Citizens of Illinois at the Union League Club on February 10th for the monthly Forum Luncheon featuring Scott Phelps. Invite parents and teachers to attend this inspiring presentation with you. For more information, go to CatholicCitizens.org or call Maureen at 708-352-5834. That's 708-352-5834.
Don't go to bed another night worrying about unfiled tax returns or the letters or the calls you're getting from the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, there's actually good news. The IRS has recently enacted changes in the tax law called the Fresh Start Initiative, specifically for troubled taxpayers who owe the IRS. You may be able to settle your entire tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest, if you qualify. Call for your free consultation with Comprehensive Tax Solutions. No matter what tax issue you're facing, one call to Mary Karpowitz of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family-owned in Chicagoland, can show you the difference between night and day so that you can enjoy what matters most to you. Don't spend another day or night hiding from the IRS. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. That's resolveyourtaxproblems.com with Comprehensive Tax Solutions.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
I'm 41 years old, father of 3. I got into running and triathlon. I even ran the Boston Marathon, but I injured my hip.
A patient from Midwest Orthopedics at Rush and his surgeon tell his story.
An MRI revealed that Matt had hip impingement, so we offered him a minimally invasive surgery.
The great thing about Dr. No, he only does hips, so he is extremely specialized. He has it down to a science. And it's well known that Rush really does have the best orthopedic program in the area.
The orthopedic program at Rush is ranked number 4 in the country by U.S. News and World Report.
To make an appointment at one of 5 locations, call 877-MD-BONES.
Once I started running, I regained my form really quickly. I signed up for a half Ironman, and I completed it within just a few minutes of my personal best time.
To be able to go back into a half Ironman pretty close to the same level that he was doing before, it's actually pretty remarkable.
Let us show you how orthopedic care should be at rushortho.com.
Do you find yourself saying, if I only had more leads, or if I only had more prospects to sell to? Well, if that sounds familiar, then let me tell you about the Sales Prospecting Group. The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. They're local, Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business and get you through the front door. The Sales Prospecting Group will get you an appointment with qualified prospects to help you grow your business. They don't use contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, they're professional, and most importantly, effective. The Sales Prospecting Group will build a custom campaign specifically for your business, and they know how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies to get you to the right people and get you connected with them. And they specialize exclusively on B2B sales. So call them right now at 630-701-9052. That's 630-701-9052. The Sales Prospecting Group, it's time to grow.
5:57. Let's get an update on our ride to work this morning in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Eisenhower, we're seeing delays Manheim to 17th Avenue, and then big delays from Austin to Holman, where a crash just cleared, but it's 48 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Outbound just 30 minutes to Thorndale. No delays to report yet on the Edens or the Kennedy. And Stevenson delays start at Central. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Clear outbound. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 427. Tollways are good. Traffic is a service of Staples. Are you trying to acquire new customers for your business? Staples Print and Marketing Services helps you promote your business with low prices on presentations, signs, pens, mugs, and more. Right now, you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
At 5:58, the news, a service of accountants. They know that your business needs can change in an instant. From increased workload to staff absences, Accountemps can help by providing accounting and finance pros on a temporary or project basis whenever you need them. Call today. Accountemps, the Robert Half Company. Chicago's Morning Answer is on the way after a full update from Fox News, but your official Chicagoland weather forecast is next with meteorologist Michael Stack.
Very cold despite plenty of sunshine. Today's high 24. Seasonably cold with some patchy clouds tonight. Lows 17. Cloudy, breezy, and a bit milder. Friday high 43. Milder with mostly cloudy skies. Saturday high 50. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
15 degrees in Chicago at 5:58. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. One person in critical condition following an officer-involved shooting near Union Station. Streets were temporarily closed last night while authorities investigated. Democrats in the Illinois Senate are not giving up just yet. Leaders say the so-called grand bargain is still alive despite yesterday's near-total collapse. Two are in custody following a police investigation that caused a soft lockdown of several suburban Elmwood Park schools. And a Northeast Indiana judge is sending a convicted cop killer to prison for life without parole. 28-year-old Carl Lee Ellis Blunt pleaded guilty last month to the 2014 shooting death of Gary patrolman Jeffrey Westerfield. Golden State beat the Bulls. Jonathan Taves' power play goal in overtime gave the Blackhawks a win over Minnesota. Full forecast from Fox is up next. WIND Chicago Newscast, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Alabama needs a new senator now that Jeff Sessions has been confirmed as our attorney general.
I hope and pray I can be worthy of the trust you've given me. I'll do my best to do that.
Only one Democrat supported Sessions. And next up, another contentious nominee, Congressman Tom Price for Health and Human Services. His vote could come at around 2 a.m. tomorrow in the Senate. Democrats claim he has ethics and conflict of interest issues. The president today makes a personal pitch to Democrats for his Supreme Court nominee. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump, Vice President Pence, and Judge Neil Gorsuch will lunch with Democratic senators at the White House. The listening session comes amid Judge Gorsuch's comments about the president's views on judges involved in the travel ban case, which Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal disclosed.
He certainly expressed to me that he is disheartened by the demoralizing and abhorrent comments made by President Trump about the judiciary.
Senators Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Manchin, John Tester, and Joe Donnelly all received invitations to the lunch. Dave?
Rachel, we're still awaiting a ruling from the appeals court considering the president's attempt to unblock his executive order halting travel from 7 predominantly Muslim countries considered terror threats. That's in Kansas City, where people cheered a Somali mother and her 8 children arriving. Somalia is one of the 7 countries, so is Yemen. And yesterday, a group of Yemeni refugees arrived in Los Angeles, allowed in because the president's order remains on hold. The snow is coming down hard in the Northeast. That's in Allentown, Pennsylvania, as a big winter storm moves in.
It could be up to 3 inches an hour. That'll create whiteout conditions.
New York City Emergency Management Commissioner Joseph Esposito. Many areas could get a foot of snow or more. Schools are closed from Philadelphia up to Boston. Nearly 2,800 flights are canceled. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
A new president has taken office, and now he must get to work. What will President Trump accomplish in his first 100 days? What should his priorities be? Join AM 560 for an exciting evening on Wednesday, March 22nd. It's Trump, the first 100 days, featuring Sean Hannity, Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, and Joe Walsh. See them all live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Sponsored in part by Woodfield Nissan.
Guys, Valentine's Day is next week. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 1 dozen red roses plus a free glass vase and chocolates for $29.99 plus shipping and handling. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this weekend. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3535. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3535.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 0808 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 0808.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560 The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I am very, very excited about the candidacy of Chris Kennedy for governor of Illinois. And you know why?
Why?
Because we get to open the vault and dust off all of our Mayor Quimby cuts. And this is... And so my first question to Chris Kennedy...
Yes.
No, he's not taking questions, but my first question would be, if elected, will you commit to wearing a sash that says governor? Because I want that. Number two, how do you say chowder? Here's the thing about Chris Kennedy.
Yes.
Illinois loves its political dynasts.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Madigans, you got your Dailies, you got your Strogers, you got your Hineses, you got your Burkes of sorts. I mean, it's,
And
husband,
Burke,
wife. But you get the point. They like to make politics, we here in Illinois, like to make politics a family affair, that public office is something to be conferred to someone you love rather than go through the messiness of elections and, the ugliness of contested races. That is, a modern notion. We are a classical city and state here. We like to go back to the old feudal system with lords and lordesses. So your reactions to Chris Kennedy's big announcement that he's finally, after many dalliances with the idea, finally going to run for statewide office in Illinois, and specifically governor. He released a little video. Want a taste of it? Here it is.
I come from two very different families. On my father's side, the Kennedy family, and on my mother's side, the Skakel family. The Kennedys were always Democrats, and the Skakels were always Republicans. They embraced the notion that we're all in this together, that our country is the land of opportunity. That's the country I want for my kids. I want them to be thinking about the future, open to new ideas. We need change, not incremental change, but fundamental change. I'm running for governor because the state is headed in the wrong direction. I believe in working with others and not telling them what to do. I believe that compromise is not surrender. That's how I think our state should work. If we don't fear new ideas, if we don't fear new people, there's not a problem that we face that can't be fixed. I know this is doable. I know that we can do it. Let's go where we need to go.
Wow.
Oh, epic. But you know what? One thing I noticed about Chris Kennedy, he's a little puffy. He doesn't look well. I mean, did he gain a few lbs?
He's 53 years old, but he does look older, doesn't he?
53? He looks like he's 75. Wow, life has not been kind. But
the Kennedy curse.
Yeah, he moved to Chicago 30 years ago. He started this Top Box Foods with his wife in 2012 to help, it's a nonprofit organization to bring fresh fruit, meats, produce to those in lower income neighborhoods. And he was former chairman of Merchandise Mart. But this time around, he has the backing and 100% support of former U.S. Commerce Secretary William Daley. So the Daleys are backing him.
The Daleys and the Kennedys coming together. Could anything be better?
But
think about the great records, political records, records of civic leadership of those two families, and to have the opportunity to have that again or more of it in Chicago and Illinois. Boy, that's really something. By the way,
everyone loves the Kennedys, right? I mean, how could you not? His uncle, John F. Kennedy, assassinated, first term in office. His dad assassinated as well, Robert F. Kennedy.
What about Ted?
Oh, Ted, he just...
What about Joe? What about...
what about William Kennedy Smith?
Yeah.
He's in Chicago, too.
What about...
Is he running for office?
What about JFK Jr.? Yeah.
What? He died in a plane crash.
Of his own doing.
Should have had instrument reading before you took off in the cloudy skies. But no, I think people love the Kennedys.
Oh, do people love the Kennedys?
Yeah.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. You excited about the Kennedy candidacy because people love the Kennedys? Now Illinois gets a little bit of that Eastern liberal establishment flavor. Aren't we lucky that we're going to be like a Massachusetts, like a Rhode Island now? We get to join the Kennedy Club where they, got bored with kicking around all of the old man's money, and they decided to hold themselves out for public office so they could distribute some of your money. By the way, the last tagline, the last line there in his little video, Chris Kennedy, future Governor Quimby, he let's go where we need to go. Man, that's vision. God, let's go where we need to go. I mean, I just again let that wash over you.
Okay.
I want you to really internalize that, how powerful that is.
But he really loves Illinois. And then, the first part of the video, of course, there's pictures of Governor Ronner. Bad. Boo, Ronner.
Well, to that I say, we're not where we need to be, so let's go where we need to go.
Where are we going?
He's already talking like Mayor Quimby. This reminds me. This is my favorite.
I want to hear this Mayor Quimby.
My favorite. One of my favorite taglines of all time. Rod Blagojevich's re-election campaign in 2006. Yeah? Remember his tagline? I mean, you should, since you're a Rod Blagojevich historian. You're working night and day to try and get him out of jail.
I'm a Rod Blagojevich sympathizer, yes, but not a historian. But what was the tagline? Refresh my memory.
Getting things done for people.
Oh, yeah.
What things, what people? It doesn't matter.
Well, Illinoisans. But, yeah.
Which Illinoisans?
Done for people.
Getting things. This is the great talent that Democrats have in this state. They string together words that, when combined, have no meaning.
Well, what was yours? Oh, yours was when you ran for governor. It was.
What are you looking at?
It's not broken. It's fixed.
Mine was. Do you have a problem? What are you looking at?
What you go? You looking at me?
You want to take this outside?
You looking at me?
Yeah.
You talking to me, man? Yeah, that was your campaign slogan.
It was a little aggressive.
Yeah.
But just think about is this Chris Kennedy or is this Mayor Quimby or is this future Governor Quimby?
Demand? Who are you to demand anything? I run this town. You're just a bunch of low-income nobodies.
Election in November.
What? Again? This stupid country.
Oh, that's great.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have to save that clip. We need to go where we want to go.
Let's go where we need to go. Yeah, let's go where we need to go.
Okay. Well, 20 years after Chris Kennedy came to Chicago, he got arrested for driving without a license. It seems in the whole 20 years he was here, he never thought he should have to get a license. I know the attorney that had to represent him.
Oh, really?
Here's a guy that wants to enforce the laws, but he obviously doesn't have to follow any of them.
Well, the Kennedys and driving.
Too soon,
Yeah,
Dan.
I mean,
really?
but at least he didn't go off the S-curve, right?
Yeah.
So we should give him that, but not the governor's mansion. Somebody from Rauner's office should pull up his driving record.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike.
I'm sure they will.
I'll tell you what, it's interesting because you know where he got that, let's go where we need to go?
Where did he get it from? Quimby?
That's what Ted Kennedy said to Mary Jo Kopechne.
Oh, stop it.
Mike in Melrose Park.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, where's the outrage from the citizens as there was for Bruce Rauner and Donald Trump? How dare an outsider, a non-politics guy, run for an office?
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be tons of outrage?
Thanks for the call, Mike. I'm not sure that he's an outsider.
Well, because he's been here 30 years.
He's not a political guy.
Well, he's dipped his toe in gubernatorial waters before and then always pulled out right before.
He's a businessman of sorts.
Well, he said that he's created jobs. If you watch the entire video, he talks about jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that we can restore the future of the state.
If we go where we need to go.
The American dream to the people of Illinois in a
if
single
we go
generation.
where we need to go.
I've seen from so many different vantage points the potential of the state, and then I see the failing of the government.
Illinois has been without a budget
18 months.
Yeah.
And then pictures of Bruce Rauner.
Yeah. State Representative Barbara Flynn Curry, who bears a striking resemblance to Cruella DeVille. She's a top Madigan lieutenant in the State House. She did, to Mike's from Melrose Park's point about criticizing a businessman from the outside, if you consider Chris Kennedy that, which I don't. She said the minus to Kennedy is you take an important issue off the table if you only have one white guy able to fund against another white guy able to fund. On the other hand, if you can fund, that's a plus. So we'll see how it plays out. The typical deep thinking you get from a Barbara Flynn Curry.
That's a bunch of gobbledygook.
The moral clarity. But I love that it's just all Chris Kennedy and all Bruce Rauner are, and all you are if you're a white person, by the way, particularly if you have any resources. It's just a white guy with money. That's all he is.
Well, the other billionaire businessman, J.B. Pritzker, he might...
Spalding.
Spalding. That's good. He might... What does this mean for his possible gubernatorial candidacy? Do you think he's going to sit down now, sit this one out?
It means he wants a hot dog, not a hamburger, French fries, no onion rings, and he's going to get nothing and like it. That's what it means for J.B. Pritzker. Yeah, this is very interesting. The scions of the left that are wading into the governor's race for 18, because I think J.B. harbors some resentment towards Penny.
Oh,
so you got a little bit of intra-family dynamic.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Because Penny, was Commerce Secretary,
right,
and J.B. he lost the congressional race against Jan Schakowsky back in '98 in that special election after Sid Yates.
Oh yeah,
died at the age of 312.
My grandpa did some work for Sid Yates.
That's not something I brag about.
I shouldn't tell people that.
Well,
I have two grandpas. One was right, one was to the left,
and one was right. So he failed, in that first foray, but he wants to be the political guy, and so this is supposed to be his little realm, his little plaything. And then Penny upset it when she outdid him by being a cabinet level secretary. So now he's like, oh, I'm the political guy.
Well, what about me?
Yeah.
Well, this is really not good news for my alderman, Amaya Pawar,
who
declared Amaya Pawar, who on the news, somebody called him Amiya Pawar, and I texted the reporter and said it's Amaya Pawar because he threw his hat in the race already.
Yeah, hilarious. So anyway, back to the adult serious candidates with money and thoughts and standing.
Yes.
So then you still have a couple of state senators kicking it around too.
Oh, who?
This little insufferable prig from the North Shore, Dan Biss, is a state senator.
Okay.
I actually ran Beth Colson's campaign against Dan Biss his first time when he ran for state rep, and we defeated him. And then the North Shore continued to trend towards socialism, and so he ultimately got elected. You've got a state senator from Decatur named Andy Minar, whose big centerpiece idea is to take money from suburban school districts to redistribute it to Chicago and downstate school districts. That's his big idea. So there's
aren't we already doing that?
Bigger.
Oh, so that's more?
If it's a bad idea, here's how you understand Illinois politics.
Yes. Okay.
If it's a bad idea, we're definitely already doing it, and the solution is to do it bigger. That's the play. So Andy Minar is following that playbook, and tally ho for him. So
is Kennedy a threat to Governor Rauner?
I think
with the Bill Daley backing him, and Lord knows who else is going to back Kennedy.
I think Rauner is in a difficult spot right now. I think he is vulnerable. I think he has been not as aggressive as I've made the case on the show any number of times, including most recently with this ridiculous surrender deal that Senate Superminority Leader Christine Radogno was trying to negotiate with Cullerton. Well, that got blown up yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so that's all gone.
And we'll have Charles Thomas on later.
So, at the bottom of 7.
Yeah, 737.
So the idea that you're going to pay a new business opportunity tax, as was trial ballooned, pay a tax based on the size of your payroll in dollars for the opportunity to do business in Illinois. Exactly. I mean, it's laughable, but these are the kind of ideas that emanate from that stinkhole in central Illinois.
God, do any politicians care about the people of Illinois? I mean, are there some out there?
Yeah, there are. Then there are some that are pursuing structural reform, and the governor has intermittently, but his Pontius Pilate routine in this matter was a mistake. He and his people obviously think it's tactical brilliance. I disagree. His whole rationale is to be the maverick taking on the establishment of both parties. In the Tribune editorial board sit-down he did last week, he talked about the need for culture change in Springfield, and he's exactly right. And by the way, when I refer to as Stinkle in central Illinois, I'm just talking about the politicians under the dome. I'm not talking about the city.
No.
But that's his whole play. And so he's right. There needs to be a culture change in Springfield. So if there needs to be a culture change in Springfield, then how, as governor, as the chief executive of the state, can you sit back and wait for Cullerton and Redonio to come up with that culture change? The people who've been propagating the culture that you say needs to be changed. It doesn't stand up to reason. So he needs to be a maverick that he was when he campaigned. And, hey, he has been intermittently over the first 2 years of his term. And instead of trying to tamp down the revolt that's bubbling below the surface, he needs to stoke the revolt. Just in sum, the Republican Party's chance in this state to upend Mike Madigan, to upend John Cullerton, to move the structural reforms and in the areas that Bruce Rauner outlined as a candidate and has repeatedly as governor, the chance to accomplish any of those things is to stoke the revolt that is bubbling below the surface in this state, just as it was in all of our Great Lakes neighbors. And ultimately, when you had the leadership of a Mitch Daniels, of a Scott Walker, of a Rick Snyder, even of a John Kasich, of a Branstad, it exploded. Mm-hmm. And the result is that our Great Lakes neighbors are going in one direction, and we're screaming down the interstate in the other direction. Neil and LaGrange, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I mean, don't the people in Springfield get it? I mean, millions of people have left Illinois, and I think I was reading on the Illinois Policy Institute, that represents, $15 billion in revenue?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, case in point is look at the story you told a couple of weeks ago about Costco and those property managers. That Costco up in Wisconsin versus the one that was over by Kittyland.
Right.
I mean, Melrose Park is what you said, a $50,000 a year annual roof inspection fee.
Right.
Whose brother-in-law is that?
Right.
You know?
Thanks
anyway,
for the,
so, Springfield has to get it. I mean, I run a small business, and, the taxes and the fees. And the other thing that nobody really talks about in Illinois is the insurance business. I mean, Illinois is the wild, wild west for insurance. I mean, it's not a coincidence that all these insurance companies headquarters are based in Illinois.
For now. Thanks for the call, Neil. Yep. State Farm in Bloomington is eyeing other locales. We know that. But here's the thing, just to respond to Neil, as to the people in Springfield get it. Sure they do. And here's the three-pronged response. I'll repeat it so that you can share it with your friends, or you can identify it when you get 1, 2, or 3 of the three-pronged response from every Democrat in this state. Ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. There's plenty of blame to go around. Mm-hmm. It's not as bad as you think, and we're working on it. No matter what argument you offer, no matter what evidence you present, no matter how much you challenge a particular policy, you're going to get a varietal of that response. 1, 2, or 3 prongs of the three-pronged pat answer from the automatons of the left that have lorded over the state for, many generations now, lorded over the city for 100 years. Ron on the South Side.
Hey, Dan, I agree with you. The governor, he may be wrong, but I don't see a threat not coming from that list of pile of garbage that you mentioned. All of those people, he'll beat all of them, and particularly anybody associated with that loser, Bill Daley. So you know what? Yeah, let him run, and the Republicans will continue to do what they are doing around the country as far as electing Republicans. But yeah, that Bill Daley, that garbage. So yeah, no, I don't see a threat with any of those candidates. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Now you'll remember Bill Daley was the genius behind President Al Gore.
Wait, that
didn't happen. But I mean, I don't. Obviously, Chris Kennedy is just another stock lefter, East Coast liberal like the rest of his family. So I certainly don't want him to be governor, but I do want him to be a candidate because it's just going to be so fun.
Very well. If that is the way the winds are blowing, let no one say I don't also blow.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, it's going to be cold, but we're going to have plenty of sunshine. A high of 25 degrees tonight, a low of 18. And for Friday, mostly cloudy skies, breezy, milder. We're going to go back up into the low 40s. Let's check in on those travel times and jump into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. We see some cancellations at O'Hare and Midway this morning, mainly affecting flights to and from the northeast due to weather there. Northwest side of Chicago, Diversey is closed in Coster and Pulaski after a major crash and ongoing investigation. Edens is 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Eisenhower's 47 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. North on Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The website, upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show. 2-minute warning this week focused on Senate Superminority Leader Christine Radogno and her effort to surrender to Chicago Democrats. Follow the Logic Man on the Street interviews this week focusing on Northwestern students trying to follow the logic of their views on immigration policy. 60-second commentaries, long-form interviews, podcasts of our Illinois Rising program, which focuses on state of Illinois policy and politics, this week featuring former State Senator Steve Rauschenberger. It's all at upstream-ideas.com. Go there, sign up today.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank?
14 years.
That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rose the
I'm
man.
sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rose the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rose the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/start now. That's ZipRecruiter.com/start now.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, drivers with diapers. What's the story?
Well, apparently CTA bus drivers have been doing this for years. They don't give them a proper place to relieve themselves. So they've been using porta potties, Dan. And if you look at these pictures of these porta potties, look at this one. I mean, they're disgusting. They're not heated.
All porta potties are disgusting.
No, they have nice porta potties these days with a sink sometimes, and you can wash your hands in and maybe. No?
I live in a home with plumbing, so I don't know of what you speak, but okay.
Okay, so yesterday they had a press conference outside CTA headquarters demanding that they install proper bathrooms for CTA bus drivers, because you know what they're doing now, Dan? The bus drivers are so appalled by these conditions. They're saying they're unsafe, unsanitary. that CTA bus drivers have been wearing adult diapers.
So instead, drivers decide not to relieve themselves. And even in a few cases, they have resorted to wearing diapers.
Come on. That'll show them.
We find this especially egregious as the majority of the bus operators in the city of Chicago are women.
Now, why is this especially egregious if you're a woman? Well, as he said, most drivers are women.
Because we're all thinking about it.
Because we have a higher chance. We have a higher chance of health problems caused by lack of restroom access and a lack of sanitary restroom conditions.
It's a medical emergency.
As a woman, I find it outrageous that this is somehow acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, it's unacceptable. I had a boss one time told me to put on a diaper because I was having some issues. I swear to God, I'm not going to say his name. He was a assignment editor at Channel 5, and I was having some issues. And
One
he said,
too many accidents in the newsroom?
No, I had to go to some standoff, and I said, well, I need a bathroom. And he said, put on a diaper. Slammed down. I'm not kidding you. All right, so
I love your cartoonish newsroom bosses. Okay.
It's great. No, it's a true story.
Yeah.
No, and he had a stack of diapers, adult diapers.
Okay, Peter Parker.
So the alderman got involved,
Oh, of course. Another big issue for the alderman to tackle.
Some of the big wigs at CTA might say, oh, what's wrong with the porta potty? Because apparently that's been their attitude so far.
Oh, my God.
Of course, the bosses don't have to use a porta potty, just the drivers. I think it's unacceptable. But now every time I get on the CTA, I'm going to check out to see, does this diaper make my butt look big? Because you're going to want to know if your driver is on a diaper.
As if you needed another reason not to ride the bus, which I know the CTA exists because I see the buses. But,
oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
Have you ever been on a CTA bus?
No.
Oh, what about the train? The red line, brown line, blue line out to O'Hare?
I've been in the L a couple of times as like an anthropological investigation, but no, not I'm not going to travel that way. Not an animal.
Well, if you're wondering what the smell is on the bus, it could be your driver.
Hey, have you seen these toilets? They're ginormous.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
There are two kinds of pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. There's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers. End the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Text from Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. Why can't the CTA drivers, just urinate on the floor like the rest of CTA fairgoers? That's a good question. Here's a solution for the CTA bus drivers.
Yes.
I got your pensions or a bathroom. You got to make a choice.
Check this out. Once again, MyPillow sweetened the deal. In addition to the Mike Lindell 4-pack special with 40% off 2 premium MyPillows plus those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, you also get free shipping. In fact, you'll get free shipping off any order over $100. Remember, Mike Lindell invented MyPillow for everybody with pillow-related sleep issues. You can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. Now, they're manufactured in the U.S. of A. and have a 10-year warranty. It's washable, dryable with a 60-day full money-back guarantee. Again, for a limited time, you'll receive Mike Lindell's 4-pack special or 40% off, plus free shipping.
Nice read. The MyPillow people are going to like that one.
Yeah, call 1-800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy to receive this unreal deal. Now, if you've been putting off purchasing a MyPillow, well, it's time to finally start getting a great night's sleep. I do. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
From micturition to nuclear proliferation,
Wow.
That tease. Huh? That's a good one. We're going to talk to Ambassador John Bolton about Iran and Russia. They are who we thought they were. Hat tip, the late, great Dennis Green.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
14 degrees, and we're monitoring developments in northern France at this hour, where there has been an explosion and fire at a nuclear power plant. No radiation leaks right now, according to French officials, but French media report several have been injured in the explosion in a machine room this morning. Now, that plant is on the English Channel, about 230 miles directly west of Paris. 2,300 flights canceled as a fast-moving winter storm begins to dump heavy snow on the Northeast. And as our Jim Telemonte has reported, the East Coast backup is already impacting flights at O'Hare. Airline and airport executives are headed to the White House today for a get-together with President Trump. Senator Jeff Sessions is headed to the Justice Department, confirmed yesterday.
The ayes are 52, the nays are 47, and one senator responded present. The nomination is confirmed.
The Trump administration clears a major hurdle yesterday when the Senate voted to short-circuit delay tactics, and now there could be a vote today for Health Secretary Tom Price. One person in critical condition this morning after an officer-involved shooting near Union Station close to Van Buren and Canal overnight. Democrats in the Illinois Senate are not giving up just yet. Leaders say the so-called grand bargain is still alive in spite of yesterday's collapse. Not a single Republican voted for any of the bargain's reforms. A Chicago man is charged with a hate crime this morning after police say he vandalized a Loop synagogue over the weekend. And a new federal judge is not going to give the public a closer look at evidence in Aaron Schock's corruption trial. The judge yesterday ordering documents in the former congressman's corruption case sealed. Golden State beat the Bulls. Blackhawks overtime winners over the Minnesota Wild. And the news a service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. Westin knows how disruptive travel can be to your well-being, but with rejuvenating heavenly beds, nutritious superfoods RX menu, and gear lending for when you leave your workout gear at home, Westin will help you stay in control. And rise above it all. Westin, let's rise. Learn more at Westin.com. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager clears up Trump's immigration policy.
These made-to-order mobs, they act as if there is no crisis of Islamic terror in the world. The language used is so over-the-top. Muslim ban. It's not a Muslim ban. It is a 120-day temporary hold on people coming in from 7 different countries that are Muslim majority.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. The number of flight cancellations at O'Hare is now over 150, at Midway over 35, most of those affecting arrivals and departures to and from Northeast U.S. destinations. The Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 20. The Kennedy 29 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 22. The Eisenhower's now 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 31. Stevenson 50 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Connect Better. When you connect better, everything comes together. Join the more than 3 million people who use GoToMeeting every month to connect with their team. Try it free at gotomeeting.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Quite cold today, sunshine, and a high near 25. It's 15 right now at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Iran and Russia are still who we thought they were. Iran firing another missile yesterday, according to U.S. intelligence officials who confided with Fox News on the topic. When the missile used in Wednesday's launch, short-range Marsad surface-to-air missile, which impacted 35 miles away, according to that said U.S. official. This in response, at least in part, to new sanctions imposed by the Trump administration earlier after a previous missile launch in violation of this unholy deal that was forged by the Obama administration. Where does the relationship with Iran go? Where does the relationship with Russia go? Got an update on the story of another victim of Putin's authoritarianism. But to help us with this discussion, enlighten us, we're pleased to be joined by former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. Ambassador Bolton, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Glad to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So on Iran, the criticism of Iran missile launch, and new sanctions, another missile launch, where is this trending?
Well, I think we're moving toward some kind of confrontation with Iran. I think there are a number of other things that we're going to see in the next few days, very likely. And I think everybody should remember that Trump said during the campaign he thought this was a terrible deal. He hasn't actually ended it yet from the U.S. perspective, but I think when National Security Advisor Mike Flynn said last week that Iran should be on notice about our view of their behavior purportedly compliant with the deal, that they're being told that they're within a heartbeat of the deal disappearing. And there's reporting yesterday that the White House is considering putting the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps on the list of foreign terrorist organizations, frankly, something that should have been done about 10 years ago or more, which would have a dramatic effect because the Revolutionary Guards, in addition to being the Ayatollah's tip of the spear throughout the Middle East, a funder and armor of terrorism, possessor of the nuclear weapons program, also are big business people in Iran. So this designation would have very far-reaching impact, and I think we're at the point we should tear the deal up anyway, and we'll see what happens then.
Well, why isn't he tearing up the deal? I mean, I know that you're waiting for Mike Flynn, but what's holding him up? I mean, you did mention he campaigned on that, but some people want action now, especially if they're testing these long-range missiles.
Well, the State Department institutionally is just all a Twitter over this thing. I mean, my goodness, tearing up this deal, they spent 4 years negotiating. But the fact is, it was a strategic mistake for the United States. It's not getting any better with age. Look at the way Iran has acted for the last year and a half, continuing support for terrorism, threatening international shipping in the Red Sea, on and on and on. If this is the way they behave when they don't have nuclear weapons, imagine what happens when they get them. So I think the case is overwhelming to tear the deal up and to get serious. This deal put us in a very difficult position. It's given Iran another year and a half to advance its ballistic missile and nuclear weapons programs. And I think when Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel comes here next week, what to do about the Iranian nuclear weapons program is going to be right at the top of the list. We don't have good options. We didn't have good options before this deal. And Obama just gave just a year and a half ago, gave the Iranians the greatest gift that somebody can give a would-be nuclear weapon state, and that's more time. The more time to perfect their program, to develop their weapon, to research and test their ballistic missiles for delivery purposes, and Iran has taken full advantage of it.
Not the only regime to be generous to Iran. Also, Putin in Russia has been allied with Iran on matters like the construction of a nuclear reactor there. And yesterday, a opponent of Putin's, Alexei Navalny, who was seen as kind of a prominent, young, reform-minded presidential opponent of Putin's when he's expected to run again for election, in quotation marks, in 2018, next year. He was convicted on very dubious embezzlement charges, and which would kind of sideline him from in pursuit of the Russian presidency. What of, and no tweets or word from Trump on this matter. What of Putin's repression of political opponents and journalists and regime critics, and the Trump administration's posture towards Putin in those areas of human rights and small d democracy?
Well, we don't know yet, really. We've had statements and tweets and the like, but we don't really know what the policy is. We know that there's a coming clash between, I think, overwhelming majorities of the House and the Senate and perhaps the administration on the subject of the economic sanctions imposed over Russian military activity in Ukraine. I think the Navalny conviction and the general re-authoritarianizing of Russia that Putin's been engaged in is something that the administration is going to have to deal with. It goes beyond whether two leaders get along with each other, especially when you consider that this increasingly authoritarian society has taken Iran's side in the conflict in Syria against ISIS, on the Iranian nuclear weapons program, and I just think there's tension in the views we've heard. Trump being very strongly against the Iranian deal, but hoping for good relations with Russia. I think those things are going to prove out to be impossible because Putin's pursuing Russian national interests as he sees it, and those interests in the Middle East and on Iran and Eastern Europe are just directly contrary to America's as I see them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. They're going to be mutually exclusive at some point. I mean, they are fundamentally already. Maybe we're not there rhetorically. It'll be interesting to hear from Secretary of State Tillerson on this issue, some of his first pronouncements. But the Wall Street Journal opined on this. Many of the Trump supporters are suggesting he's engaging or trying to engage Putin the way that Reagan did Gorbachev. And the Wall Street Journal was quick to point out, yeah, well, Reagan was quick to speak up and speak out against the Soviet Union's human rights violations, and likely would have in the case of this conviction yesterday and the other silencing of critics, in addition to, oh, by the way, not being afraid to refer to the Soviet Union as the evil empire. So it seemed like Reagan had a bit more of a nuanced approach that was rooted in peace through strength, not peace through compliment, the exchange of bon mots, as Trump has done with Putin thus far.
Well, I think personal relationships among leaders obviously can have an important place, but they don't substitute for national interest. They certainly don't in Putin's case. And I think one thing to keep in mind here is that when you see a country like Russia treating its own citizens the way they've treated Navalny, the way you've seen journalists executed, that's the only word for it, opposition politicians as well, how do you think they're going to treat foreign investors when push comes to shove? I don't understand the fascination of American oil companies and a lot of other companies to rush to put large capital investments in those kinds of places when we don't have any assurance that they're going to be treated fairly. I'd apply the same point to China, where I think a lot of people are very concerned about the way the Chinese interfere in the economy and discriminate against foreigners. I think Russia's clearly demonstrated a propensity to do that already. So, this is it's always the case in early days in a new administration. You see a lot of possibilities that are worth looking at, maybe worth pursuing, but don't have any long-term faith that they're necessarily going to pan out, because ultimately, as good presidents, great presidents since George Washington have recognized in foreign affairs, what drives nations are their interests. And interests trump personal relationships, no pun intended.
Yeah. So before the Super Bowl, of course, President Trump, I don't know why I have a hard time saying that. President Trump sat down with Bill O'Reilly and pretty much appeared to equate U.S. actions with the authoritarian regime of Russian President Vladimir Putin. What was your reaction when you heard that interview?
Well, I was very surprised by it. I just don't think you should equate the actions of the United States with those of Russia. And American presidents have been naive about Russian and Soviet leaders for a long time, including Franklin Roosevelt, who said after being briefed about what Stalin's intentions were to take over countries in Eastern Europe after World War II, he said, "I have a hunch Stalin's not that kind of man.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I give him everything that he wants and ask nothing in return, then noblesse oblige, after the war he won't annex anything, and he'll work with me for peace and democracy." Now, that has to rate as the silliest thing said by an American president in the 20th century. And that attitude cost us a lot, cost our friends a lot in the aftermath of World War II. I'm not opposed to trying to get along with a foreign leader. I just think you got to be very cold-blooded about this.
An excellent cautionary tale. He is John Bolton, former ambassador, U.S. ambassador to the UN, now a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. Ambassador Bolton, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always glad to do it. Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, taking selfies in a casket. Oh, what will the kiddies think of next? But first, here's your forecast. Quite cold today, but we'll have plenty of sunshine. That's nice. A high of 25 degrees. And tomorrow, Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy, breezy, but milder. Highs in the low 40s. Let's jump into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. At O'Hare and Midway, we're seeing quite a few cancellations affecting flights to and from the Northeast due to weather there. Edens is 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. At the Kennedy, now 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound is 23 minutes. The Eisenhower, 54 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 40 from Manheim, outbound 32 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and 48 from the Tri-State. Outbound just a little slow from LaGrange Road to 294. Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower, but otherwise the tollways are pretty light right now. And Northwest Indiana is just fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. President Trump has another key member of his cabinet this morning. Big financial news for a major jobs creator. Those stories next.
2017 is the year of Trump, and markets are rising to all-time highs. But economic uncertainty may be greater than after any election in our lifetime. And as retirement approaches, there's little time to recover losses. You need to hedge against uncertainty. That means transferring part of your retirement to physical gold and silver, stored where you can actually hold it in your hands and get it fast in any disaster. It's the perfect time to buy. Prices are low and expected to climb. Make Augusta Precious Metals your personal gold and silver provider. Augusta cares for your financial position and helps you make good decisions. And they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get Augusta's free gold and silver IRA guide. What you learn could help you weather any economic storm. No obligation. Just call 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993. Trust Augusta. Protect your retirement today.
Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions has been confirmed as the nation's next Attorney General in an evening session of the Senate. All Republicans voted for Sessions, and one Democrat, West Virginia's Joe Manchin, crossed over the aisle and supported the nominee. There was one senator who voted present. Economic reports due out today include new jobless claims, the Consumer Comfort Index, and an update on wholesale trade. Japanese telecommunications giant SoftBank Group has promised President Trump that it will invest $50 billion in the U.S. and create 50,000 new jobs back home in Japan. SoftBank just reported its fourth quarter profits soared 40% over a year ago. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Gatto Industrial Platers, Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 10,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
If I only had more leads, if I only had more prospects to sell to. Sound familiar? The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. The Sales Prospecting Group is a local Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business by getting them in the door. The Sales Prospecting Group will get you appointments with qualified prospects to help you grow your business. They don't use contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, professional, and effective. The Sales Prospecting Group will build a custom campaign specifically for your business. They know how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies to get to the right people and get you connected with them. The Sales Prospecting Group specializes exclusively on B2B sales. Call the Sales Prospecting Group now to learn how they could help your business grow in 2017. 630-701-9052. 630-701-9052. The Sales Prospecting Group. It's time to grow.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, here we go. The French. Funeral directors in Quebec are discussing how to educate people that are taking selfies over a corpse and posting it to social media, saying that it may be disrespectful to some families.
Oh, just slightly. They're taking selfies at wakes?
Yeah.
That's disgusting. That is so disrespectful. What is wrong with people? Now, of course, I'm looking it up on this thing we call the internet.
Well,
it's Quebec.
This is how I want to remember this person. Laid out with me smiling over their corpse.
That's gruesome.
So here's my my opinion on this, Amy. See if you agree with this. The selfie is the new tattoo.
Yes.
And by that, I mean the selfie is the latest way to say, I cannot defile myself fast enough.
Oh, this is disgusting. This is a real problem.
We'll let you cope with it during the break.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Guys, Amy Jacobson here. Valentine's Day is this Tuesday. And two words you never thought you'd hear together.
Oh, yeah.
Along with this read you never thought you'd hear. Flirty and flannel. Introducing flirty flannel pajamas. The experts at Pajamagram took the warm flannel she loves and made it into a sexy PJ you'll love too. Soft, warm flannel with an inviting look and a feel that's seductive, fun, and flirty. Who knew flannel could be this sexy?
Why do I feel uncomfortable?
These pajamas reinvent classic flannel with a flirty twist just for you. You feel like we should be in front of a fireplace right now? Visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. P as in Paul. 1-800-GIVE-PJs. Say goodbye to boring flannel PJs and say hello to flirty flannel. Flirty flannel pajamas exclusively at pajamagram.com.
Please clap. Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump defends his daughter's honor and denigrates the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals judicial panel at 7:07.
Who knew Trump was a helicopter dad? And then later, there's a huge lead in the Tom Brady missing jersey case. But first, into the newsroom we go for some real serious news. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following right now. One person wounded in an officer-involved shooting near Union Station. Donald Trump blames undocumented immigrants for Chicago violence. We'll get a reaction from the White House. Chris Kennedy announces a bid for Illinois governor. We'll get the latest from AM 560's David Stewart on that development. And there is a life sentence this morning for a cop killer in Gary. Blackhawks beat the Wild and a cold but sunshiny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. President Trump takes another swipe in a tweet, this time at a Democratic senator. He posted Richard Blumenthal, who never fought in Vietnam when he said for years he had, major lie, now misrepresents what Judge Gorsuch told him, ending the tweet with a question mark. This the day after Blumenthal met with the Supreme Court nominee. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senator Blumenthal claims Judge Gorsuch told him he's disheartened by, quote, demoralizing and abhorrent comments made by President Trump about the judiciary. The Democrat also expressed his opinions about the president's comments about judges involved in the travel ban case.
Has issued a series of blistering and bullying attacks on judges around the country.
President Trump has invited a group of red state Democrats to have lunch at the White House today with Judge Gorsuch and the vice president. Dave?
Rachel Jeff Sessions will be sworn in as Attorney General this morning.
I can't express how appreciative I am.
Only one Democrat backed Sessions in his confirmation. None may support Congressman Tom Price for Health and Human Services. His Senate vote could come in very early tomorrow morning. It is snowy and sleety across the Northeast.
The roads are pretty slick. There's a couple accidents out there.
And it'll only get worse, affecting a lot of travel. Fox's Tanya J. Powers live outside in New York City.
Yeah, Dave, flights into and out of airports from Philadelphia to Boston are affected. About 2,800 flight cancellations so far. That'll have a ripple effect on the rest of the country. Now, schools have also canceled classes today for many parts of the Northeast, even here in New York City. Big, fluffy snowflakes are coming down on me right now, and they're coming down pretty quickly, too. The difference in the amount of snow over the last hour, quite a bit. This storm could dump a foot of snow before the day is over. They're taking it pretty seriously, Dave.
Tanya, CIA Director Mike Pompeo has arrived in Turkey for talks on the fight against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
14 degrees this morning, winds north at 15. That gives us a wind chill at the bus stop this morning of -3. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One person is in critical condition following an officer-involved shooting near Union Station, close to the area of Van Buren and Canal Streets overnight. President Trump blaming undocumented immigrants, he says, for causing a portion of Chicago's violence. Speaking before law enforcement yesterday, the president claiming Some of the city's problems are caused by gang members who are not in the country legally.
More than 4,000 people were shot last year alone, and the rate so far this year has been even higher. What is going on in Chicago?
Democrats in the Illinois Senate are not giving up just yet. Leaders say the so-called grand bargain is still alive in spite of yesterday's collapse. There may be a new name throwing his hat into the ring for Illinois governor. As AM 560's David Stewart reports.
I'm running for governor because the state is headed in the wrong direction. I believe in working with others and not telling them what to do. I believe that compromise is not surrender. That's how I think our state should work.
Stewart reports first that Chicago businessman Chris Kennedy is announcing his candidacy. The longtime Democrat is the former head of the Merchandise Mart and is a nephew of former President John F. Kennedy. Lyle's mayor says he's thrilled that he doesn't have to convince local voters he doesn't want to merge that city. The judge yesterday tossing out a ballot question that would have merged the western suburb with a handful of other cities and Naperville. None of the mayors in the cities want to merge. The judge in the case says a still unidentified backer of the plan failed to gather enough signatures to make the ballot. Golden State beat the Bulls 123-92 last night. Jonathan Taves' power play goal in overtime gave the Blackhawks a road win over the Wild 4-3. Veteran winger Marty Havlat is hanging up his skates. The 35-year-old's best season in the NHL came with the Blackhawks in 08-09 when he recorded 77 points in 81 games. And there is news this morning, Bears fans. Apparently the Jets are considering bringing in current Bears quarterback Jay Cutler. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now, promo code RISK, to save 10%. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a business in Illinois that succeeded in this challenging economic environment? If so, we want to hear about it. AM 560's Business Tour 2017, presented by Signature Bank, will be highlighting business success stories. Tell us your story and be a part of a live broadcast of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Find out more and submit your information at 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Guys, Valentine's Day is next week. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 1 dozen red roses plus a free glass vase and chocolates for $29.99 plus shipping and handling. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this weekend. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3535. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3535.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 0808 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 0808.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads. As we do that with Jim Talamonte in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Like on the CTA Orange Line, trains are stopped at Pulaski due to a mechanical issue. Edens is 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23 to Kennedy, with delays starting at Cumberland. 41 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 19 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound 26 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 32. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's fine. Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the Rye, Bishop 421. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound, there are delays, 31st to the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State stop and go Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial, little heavy approaching the Reagan Tollway. There are quite a few flight cancellations due to that weather in the Northeast. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Michael Stack.
Plenty of sunshine, but very cold out today. High 24, seasonably cold with patchy clouds tonight. Low 17, milder and breezy with mostly cloudy skies. Friday's high 43 and a bit milder with mostly cloudy skies. Saturday high 50. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 15. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
And I don't ever want to call a court biased, so I won't call it biased. And we haven't had a decision yet. But courts seem to be so political.
Unbelievably, we are not so very far from the problems of 1963.
We need change, not incremental change, but fundamental change. I'm running for governor because the state is headed in the wrong direction.
Very well. If that is the way the winds are blowing, let no one say I don't also blow.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Wow. Oh!
Yeah.
Woo! Looking at our TV monitors here and
The
seeing some of your
scions of-
Democratic gubernatorial candidates.
Yes, the scions of political families. You got Quimby, Kennedy, and Spalding Pritzker. We'll get to those at the bottom of the hour with Charles Thomas, but I know there are important things that we need to talk about, like the pending Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision on the Trump executive order providing for a temporary travel ban for these 7 Muslim majority countries, citizens of those 7 majority Muslim countries. But of course, that pales in comparison to where Ivanka's clothing lines will or will not be offered.
Well, not yesterday, a few days ago, Nordstrom decided to yank her entire line. Yeah. And their whole basis was that it's not selling. We're not making any money. Nobody's buying her stuff.
So it seems like a good basis.
Well, but then Donald Trump sent out a tweet about Nordstrom being unfair to his daughter. Nordstrom stock dropped temporarily. It actually closed ahead. But now TJ Maxx and Marshalls has been told that they have to throw away all promotional signs and displays for Ivanka's branded merchandise and stock the items on the racks with everything else in the store. So the memo went like this: effective immediately, please remove all Ivanka Trump merchandise from features and mix into the runs. All Ivanka Trump signs should be discarded.
And?
Well, is this just a dad sticking up for his daughter? Or since he's the president, should he just sit this one out? Of course, Sean Spicer was asked the question.
So how is she being treated unfairly if she's not a
Well,
part
I think
of
there's
this
clearly a targeting of her brand and her name still out there. This is a direct attack on his policies and her name.
Is it? I mean, does Donald Trump and does Sean Spicer have the sales figures from these retail establishments?
No, they don't. They just think that it's a direct attack because Americans hate Trump, or some do, and they're so upset that they're taking it out on Ivanka. And she's worked hard on her clothing line. She designed most of the items herself, and she also sells shoes. I mean, it's a whole, not only just dresses, but the whole array. And they think she's under attack because of who her father is.
Cry me a river. Who fracking who? That's the nature of the business world. Somebody wants to carry your line. They don't want to carry your line. Is it because it's selling? Is it because they don't like the style? Is it because they don't like your politics? What's the resolution of this? Or what's the suggested solution? Even if what Trump says is true. And so what?
Should he sit it out because he's president?
Well,
I mean, he treated my daughter Ivanka has been treated so unfairly by Nordstrom.
You can rally.
She's a great person, always pushing me to do the right thing.
You can rally. You can rally to the defense of your daughter and say, no matter what Nordstrom's decision, she makes great clothes and she's a great fashion designer, and I love my daughter. Fine, whatever. But to turn this into like a real issue from either direction. First of all, to have Sean Spicer comment on that at all is absurd. He should have dismissed that question as absurd. I'm not going to respond to every question you have about every tweet from the President of the United States. Okay? I'm here to talk about policy, and I'm not talking about Nordstrom's customer return policy. Okay? I'm talking about geopolitical matters, domestic policy matters. This is silliness, and it's silliness in both directions.
A spokesman for Ivanka Trump told NBC News that the brand has been selling well, and that the move was in response to pressure from advocacy groups who claim...
dueling press releases.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it's
It makes me want to go buy something from Ivanka Trump.
Oh, go. I mean, I talked to my stylist at Nordstrom.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? You're a stylist at Nordstrom?
Yeah, I have a stylist at Nordstrom. Obviously, you think this just happens?
So did she put that little number that you got on today? She put that together?
Some of the component parts, like this handsome...
Oh, well, look at that jacket.
This handsome Armani jacket.
Are you carrying in that? You've got a lot of hidden pockets in there.
So this was a selection. I've gotten a lot of nice use out of this very stylish, warm Armani blazer.
You're a stylist. She picked that out for you. What about the sweater underneath?
No.
That's yours. And the shirt underneath?
Yeah,
or blouse or top. What do you guys call it?
I call it a blouse.
No, that's a nice
I like the
number.
ruffles. Yeah. I look pretty.
Okay, Jerry.
So I talked to her.
Yes.
And, she said, you get some people that, don't want anything with a Trump name and they're, making a political statement. Okay, fine. And then other people that are just interested in whatever they like stylistically, what styles they like. Okay, so what?
So
it's a private business. It's a private company. It's private American citizens making purchasing choices. You know what? This is the whole thing with some of the bedwetting that comes from conservatives. Frankly, if I'm going to be real honest, you don't like it. The left boycotts stuff all the time. You don't like it, then vote with your dollars. Don't shop at Nordstrom or TJ Maxx or wherever.
Marshall.
Well, TJ Maxx is on the list too.
Yeah, it's TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Nordstrom.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's the whole.
But you're going to continue to shop at Nordstrom.
Well, I am
because that's your side.
But I mean, it's like this is like we talk about with college campuses. Oh, decrying the totalitarian re-education centers that college campuses have become. But I can't wait to go to the football game this weekend to rule on my alma mater, who's repressing speech on campus, and I respond to the appeals every 3 months for the alumni funding and so forth. Well, I mean. So if you think this is so untoward, then vote with your pocketbook, and other people are going to vote with their pocketbooks differently. But the idea this needs to bubble up to some national discussion is just kind of silly to me. Terry in Wakanda, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to make a comment. I totally agree with you, Dan. The president and Spicer should actually keep their mouths shut about Ivanka's clothing line. I have a number of things that are in her line, and they weren't, set apart with a big display. They were on the rack with everything else. If she should take her clothing somewhere else, then people will buy it, right? If it's priced right and it looks good, they will come. So I agree. The president needs to close his mouth on some of this stuff and focus on the real issues and why we put him in office.
Thanks for the call, Terry. I appreciate the call, Terry. And I'm going to tell you, this stuff will grow old. This routine that Trump does and some of these ancillary issues and personal issues, it's going to grow old, even for a lot of Trump supporters.
Well, he's fiercely protective of his family.
That's fine. That's fine. But if you're not focused on the awesome job that you have in front of you and all of the faith that we put in you to do these transformative things, if that's not going well, if there's any hiccups, and then at the same time you see him responding to the latest shiny object, I'll tell you, it's just not going to serve him well. It's not. People will get tired of this routine. Every show has its run. And it becomes stale. So just kind of a warning on the topic. I mean, it's good to think about the flip side. When Tom Ford said, I'm not going to design Melania's inaugural dress because, I'm an opponent of the Trump administration. Okay, well, fine. So don't buy Tom Ford stuff. Do we have to have a Twitter war and a national conversation about whether or not to boycott Tom Ford's lines of wear? Honestly.
One of our listeners just sent me an email that she wrote to an investor relations at Nordstrom, and went off. She can't express the level of disappointment with Nordstrom and their announcement that they'll no longer carry Ivanka Trump line of clothing. And she went on to mention how much she spends there on a yearly basis, and she wants them to bring back her line. So for some women, this is upsetting.
Well, it's fine. Well, that's fine. I'm not saying that people have to be silent about it. I'm just saying people have to have perspective about it. See, of course, we weigh in. I like Ivanka stuff. I don't like Ivanka stuff. I think Nordstrom should carry it. And since I like shopping at Nordstrom, I'm going to tell people at Nordstrom that I want you to carry Ivanka's line, and I'll buy stuff. I'll buy her stuff if and when you do.
She went on to say, politics has gotten into our wallets, our coffee, our schools, our water, our transportation choices, and our bedrooms. I was hoping to keep it out of our closets. Sincerely yours, and then the woman's name.
Well, you really?
That's good.
It's gotten into marriages. I mean, look at this. You see this story? Washington State woman left her husband of 22 years because he voted for Trump. Gail McCormick said she was stunned when during a luncheon her husband Bill announced he was voting for Trump in the primaries. My jaw kind of dropped, and this was before the primary, so it wasn't even known yet who was going to be the nominee. And I didn't speak for the rest of the luncheon, and we didn't talk about it, said Gail, who describes herself as a Democrat leaning towards socialist. Okay. I was incensed. I can't believe somebody I married could vote for someone whose track record is so obviously poor in terms of civil liberties, blah, 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 the usual stuff. And so the result is she's not getting divorced. By the way, she's 73 years old. Not getting
getting separated?
Not getting divorced, but she got her own place.
Oh, that's a separation.
Which is the way to keep a marriage together. We're not getting divorced. We just live separately.
Because he voted for Donald Trump. Yeah. I think there's other issues going on there. Oh, maybe,
She's a former prison guard. And she said
she runs a tight household, I'll tell you that.
She's still close with her ex. And the best thing that ever happened to him was she moved out. Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'll tell you what, when a 73-year-old wife moves out, you owe somebody a big thank you. Because we age like wine, and you people age like cheese.
Oh, boy. Sean from Elmwood Park, that is the new subject of a boycott.
Okay, we'll compare bellies soon.
You think Nordstrom's going to get some letters?
I couldn't get my wife out of Nordstrom's with a bomb threat, and this guy did it with a sentence. So thank you, because my wife is one of those Union Democrat family Trump Krishnas, where anything he says is good, and they're completely ignoring that complicated hairdo. So thank you very much, because I know you're not going to get rid of Obamacare. You're not going to lower my taxes, so you save me a little money on the back end. Thank you there, Big Donald.
Thank you. Sean, I think I hear a moving truck pulling into your driveway in Elmwood Park. Your wife going to find a comfortable place away from you. I mean, the misogyny, Amy.
Oh, he'll get his. Revenge is a dish best served cold, my man.
Better sleep with one eye open, Sean in Elmwood Park. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, was that misogyny or misogenvy? I missed
it. A little bit of both.
I think it's politically motivated. I mean, let's face it. When a company like a store pulls a line, they usually don't issue some press release. If sales have been flagging a little bit, it just kind of disappears, and the promotional displays kind of get moved to the back store.
Yeah, but this is a unique case. To defend Nordstrom, you're going to get a response because people are going to notice. It's going to be asked. It's going to level up to Ivanka. Then it's going to level up to Donald. So you have to be ready with a response to the inevitable questions and criticism, frankly.
Probably, and as far as the sales go, I mean, if Ivanka, wanted to defend herself, I don't think that Donald needs to do it. Mm-hmm. But she could provide her own sales numbers, saying, "Well, we're kind of confused. Sales were such and such, growing at whatever rate." She would be able to defend herself, especially if it's really a business decision. And if I were her, I wouldn't remain silent on this. It'd be, hey, we're disappointed. We're going to talk with other stores. But I agree with you. I think it's going to get old as far as Donald using his Twitter account to just tweet on whatever. It's like, shut up repeal Obamacare, do what you said you're going to do, get your things done, and shut up and let Ivanka deal with her own business. And quite frankly, keep her out of your administration.
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
Too late for that.
Yeah, and stop picking on the employer of my stylist.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Okay. Forecast for today. Quite cold, but we're going to have plenty of brilliant sunshine out there. It looks nice. A high of 25 degrees. Tonight, a low of 18. And tomorrow, the clouds are going to roll back in here. It'll be breezy but milder. A high of 42 degrees. Let's go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Are there high travel times? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, they are getting higher, Amy. On the inbound Kennedy, the delay start at Canfield. It's now 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 25 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound 31 minutes out to O'Hare. The Edens, though, just 22 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Eisenhowers, now an hour and 2 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 32 to Thorndale. The Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, and 52 minutes from the Tri-State, fine outbound. Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to the Loop, Lakeshore Drive, southbound slow Irving Park to North Avenue, and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound there delays, 31st to the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State really slow from Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial from 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Other tollways are good. There are quite a few flight cancellations due to weather in the Northeast. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The website upstream-ideas.com. Go there for my fashion tips. To look at what I'm sporting from Nordstrom for the winter collection. As well as commentaries, long-form interviews, podcasts of our Illinois Rising program. A 2-minute warning this week that you want to hear featuring a focus on Senate Superminority Leader Christine Radogno's attempt to surrender to Chicago Democrats. Go to upstream-ideas.com. Sign up today.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashava, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area. with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so the end of gender as we know it being promoted by the National Geographic Channel, their Gender Revolution series.
When does it air?
Well, it's ongoing. Katie Couric.
Okay.
Oh, they've tabbed her. Gender pronouns, this is a National Geographic Channel tweet. Gender pronouns like they, them, their offer an alternative to binary male-female options. What is your preferred pronoun? What is your preferred gender pronoun? Well, it's a good question.
I'm going with she.
Well, what about for Paris Green?
Who's Paris Green?
Paris Green is a convicted murderer who was serving a life sentence in Edinburgh's female wing over across the pond there in UK because he identifies as a woman. But this transgender murderer had to be moved from a women's prison following claims that he had sex with female inmates. I don't know how what pronoun they used to refer to themselves. According to
that'd be a problem.
A source for the Daily Star, the women want sex, and Paris is the only person who can give it to them. Now, the good news for Paris, even though he
like
is
a kid in a candy store there, huh?
Yeah, even though he, who identifies as a she, is being moved to another prison.
I don't think a male prison. Men's
Yes,
prison, I mean?
authorities are sending him back to a male prison, even though he identifies as a she. The other good news, though, for him who identifies as a her, still can be a Boy Scout troop leader when he gets out. Speaking
kind
of
not a good look.
resembles
Chelsea Manning.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
That high forehead,
handsome woman. Yeah. The
stringy blonde hair.
Who doesn't like a good-looking Cro-Magnon chick? Here's
with a mustache.
Here's Katie Couric. You ready for the dumbest conversation on science you're ever going to hear?
Okay.
Katie Couric and Ellen, I really don't even have to fill in the blanks, talking about this whole gender revolution.
And just because you operate on a child and tell that child you're a certain gender, that doesn't necessarily coincide with who that person feels he or she actually is.
It doesn't correlate with what is in your head. And
right. In the later stages of development, it's when your brain is wired. And sometimes the surge of testosterone can make a female fetus feel as if that baby is male or that
you're in
person
the wrong
is male.
body.
And the opposite if there's not enough testosterone.
Wait, does she even know the female anatomy?
Dr. Katie Couric saying that in utero, a female can feel like a male because of a surge of testosterone. The interesting thing about that comment...
Does she know that women don't have testosterone?
The interesting thing about the comment is not...
can't go to the low T zone.
It's not the junk science. The interesting thing is, oh, wait a second. Oh, so the fetus in utero can feel and identify. So I see. So it's only a mass of protoplasm, not a child, unless it can be used to advance our political agenda to promote this gender revolution junk science. Now I understand.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Todd Pals, owner of Homewood Bat Company, a top-quality baseball bat made right here in the Chicagoland area. Homewood Bat Company is all about using the best in materials and craftsmanship to create a truly remarkable baseball bat. I've been a client of Precision Payroll for a number of years, and when I started the Homewood Bat Company, I wanted them on my team. From working with me when I had 1,200 employees at another company, and now with less than 50, their service has been exceptional and their value is unrivaled. You want more runs in the game? Give Homewood Bat Company a look. You need a home run for your business? Precision Payroll should be the next call you make.
Thank you, Todd. It is so cool to see you make Americana.
Precision Payroll would like to go to bat for you. Call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
And Amy, just a point of order, the ovaries do release small doses of testosterone.
Oh, I didn't know you knew so much about the female anatomy.
Boy, do I. No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. Walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. That's why I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. They accept most health insurance, are in-network for most providers, have flexible hours, including Saturdays, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me, 630-409-4305. Again, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How does Chris Kennedy say chowda? We'll ask Charles Thomas at 7:37.
And new information, a huge lead in the Tom Brady missing jersey case. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunny skies. We have 12 degrees. French officials say right now there's no risk of radiation after an explosion and fire at a nuclear power plant in northern France. Today is a snow day for colleges and universities across the Northeast. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh.
Anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of snow in the Boston area. Temperatures are going to be very cold, falling to 17 degrees by 5 p.m.
So what happens on the East Coast will have an impact here in the Midwest. As Jim Talamonte has reported already, we're feeling the pinch at the big airport. Federal judge blocking health insurer Anthem's bid to merge with rival Cigna, citing competition concerns. Alabama Republican Jeff Sessions is the new U.S. Attorney General.
He's a well-qualified colleague with a deep reverence for the law. He believes strongly in the equal application of it to everyone.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. One person is dead after a car slams into a pole on Chicago's northwest side. The accident happened early this morning in the 4200 block of West Diversey Avenue. One person in critical condition following an officer-involved shooting near Union Station close to Van Buren and Canal overnight. Two are in custody following a police investigation that caused a soft lockdown of several suburban Elmwood Park schools. And forget crystal and silverware this morning. How about pizza as a wedding gift? Domino's has set up a wedding registry. It allows users to pay for anything from food for a bachelor or bachelorette party to a $25 gift card for the post-honeymoon adjustment to real life. Golden State beat the Bulls 123-92. Jonathan Taves, the game winner. Blackhawks over the Wild 4-3. The news service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year. Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season. For less, storage boxes, filing supplies, software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. And right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. In-store only, ends 4/1/17. Staples, make more happen. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Governor Greg Abbott is threatening any Texas city that becomes a sanctuary city. That if you don't reverse course and cease and desist your sanctuary city status, the state's going to cut you off. Man, that's the way to do it. It's my hope that Trump's going to do the same thing.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Thank you, Monica Nelson, for listening to AM 560 The Answer. Monica Nelson, thanks for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day.
Yeah, Monica.
A Beautyrest Platinum mattress brings you innovative design and superior style. With Beautyrest Platinum, experience elegantly orchestrated sleep. Visit a Beautyrest dealer President's Day weekend and try out Beautyrest Platinum.
Great talent is the driving force behind your successful business. If you don't have the right people in key roles, then you have talent gaps. IMC Solutions identifies those gaps and delivers expertise in recruiting the right talent to fill them, leaving you free to succeed.
Hi, I'm Linda Nichols. One of our startup technology clients needed to hire account executives to generate more business and get their product to market. As a young company, they didn't have the budget to hire an internal recruiting staff, so we presented our fixed cost solution where they utilized our internal recruiters as their offsite recruiting team. Clients benefit because we're using our resources and recruiting expertise to find top salespeople they need to hire. We give them guarantees that no other search firm does. Win-win for all.
IMC Solutions understands the unique challenges of your business, making the tough job of hiring easy. Get started on finding your next hire today at imcsolutions.com or call Linda Nichols at 630-637-6200.
7:37. Check of the roads. Alarm detection systems traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Chicago's airports report nearly 200 cancellations now due to weather in the Northeast. Tri-State southbound, it's stop and go 122 O'Plain, where there's a crash in the right lane. The northbound delays are from 95th to 87th. LaGrange Road to the Hinsdale Oasis from the Reagan Flowway to North Avenue. The Edens is 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 26. The Kennedy 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 32. The Eisenhower an hour and 6 minutes from Thorndale to downtown 34 minutes outbound. Stevenson an hour and 4 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 37 minutes. Line 33 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Traffic is a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast if you swipe your card. You leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? A U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cold day ahead, sunshine, high 25 and a low of 18 overnight. Currently 12 degrees above with sunshine at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And yesterday, Chris Kennedy, the son of Bobby Kennedy, announced his candidacy for governor of the state of Illinois after a number of false starts.
Yeah,
in
he's
pursuit of high office, including particularly the governorship.
Right, he's done this 2 other times, right? Just testing the waters.
Yeah, now is his time, according to Chris Kennedy. We have some excerpts from his announcement.
Why won't you acknowledge our love child?
That is not my baby.
Where?
Demand? Who are you to demand anything? I run this town. You're just a bunch of low-income nobodies.
Election in November.
What? Again? This stupid country. Very well. If that is the way the winds are blowing, let no one say I don't also blow.
It should make for a spirited campaign. And for more on that, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Charles Thomas, ABC 7 political reporter. Charles, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I spent some time yesterday with Chris Kennedy. We did an interview yesterday.
And why now? Why is this Kennedy's time?
Well, I was actually very impressed by the interview, but at his mastery of his talking points. He went at it like he'd been a career professional politician, and you wouldn't know that he had never run for public office. Everywhere you ask him a question, and he would turn a pivot, as they call it, and immediately say that it was all the responsibility, all the blame should go to Bruce Rauner.
Kind of runs in the family, though. The talking point.
To the point of while being impressed with how he did his talking points, then you begin to become very skeptical about how in the world can you take a guy who's been in office for 2 years and blame all of what's bad in Illinois on that person. Then I asked him about this criticism coming from the Illinois Republican Party that he is just a foil for Mike Madigan. And, of course, he denied that and, again, blamed everything on Bruce Rauner. Then I asked, well, does Madigan have any responsibility at all for all that's wrong? And then, almost incredibly, he said he wouldn't blame Madigan for anything that's wrong in Illinois. And at that point, you say, hey, this guy is in an alternative universe. He won't acknowledge Madigan's involvement in anything. And
Does he know how
said
Springfield
it's all
works?
for the guy sitting in the chair.
Well. To be fair, I mean, he wants to give Madigan a chance. He's only been the speaker for 32 years. That's not enough of a probationary period.
Right. You know, it's like Madigan is on videotape stabbing the victim. And at this point, to me, the question is it first degree or second degree murder or manslaughter? But Chris Kennedy was saying he would not. I would throw him fastballs, 75-mile-an-hour center cut, hit it out the park, Chris, and he would not say anything derogatory about Speaker Madigan during the entire interview.
Yeah. So why is he doing it, though? Why this time?
Because I think that there's been, he's going to be a very effective candidate. He'll be about the most effective Chicago-based candidate you can run downstate, because a lot of Democrats downstate, I think, who are fed up with the Democratic Party are going to maybe give a guy with the last name Kennedy a shot for old time's sake. And I think that's how he can be the Chicago Democrat who could run down there.
Well, and
there's another school of thought within the Democratic Party that we've got to come up with a candidate like Sherry Bustos or Andy Menard, who's from down here, who can convince downstate Democrats to get back on the train.
Yeah.
But Kennedy, I think, is the guy that the Chicago Democrats think can run most effectively. Not J.B. Pritzker. I don't think J.B. Pritzker at this point is going to get in.
Oh, really?
Because Kennedy's already taken the plunge.
Well, here's the thing about Kennedy and about this region, Northeast Illinois, and this state. We love our dynasties. We love our dynasts. We love names.
Democrats do.
Well, I know.
Democrats do.
Right. So and mildly informed suburban voters who keep giving Democrats their majorities. I mean, it's not downstate; it's the suburbs that's giving Democrats their majorities.
I've sensed that appeal to the ignorant voter. I sensed that throughout my interview. When he would blame Bruce Rauner for things, he said Bruce Rauner had stolen the public aid from 1 million people.
Yeah, right.
That 1 million people don't have their aid and their help anymore. Well, you have to be very naive to believe that Bruce Rauner had anything to do with that. The reason they aren't getting their money is because Illinois is broke. That's why they aren't getting their money.
Well,
but he just made the point over and over again that Bruce Rauner is the reason that you're not getting your freebies.
Well, with respect to Kennedy, so Rauner's already put a $50 million downstroke in for next year's reelection. Chris Kennedy, how much Cuddy Sark money is he willing to put in?
Man, he said he put in, I asked him specifically because I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, and he said this is going to cost between $50 and $100 million. It was on tape. He said that. So I asked Chris Kennedy, I said, are you willing to spend $50 to $100 million to become governor? And he said, look, resources are not going to be a problem.
Wow.
That's virtually a quote.
Yeah, so this could be the most expensive gubernatorial race ever, possibly?
It will be.
Maybe. Maybe in the country.
It will be.
If Pritzker for some reason jumped in, it absolutely would be, because then you'd have 3 of these super rich guys involved in trying to become governor of Illinois, not to mention anybody else who might get in. Yeah, you could have this could be the mother of all gubernatorial campaigns.
So J.B. Pritzker's out?
Well,
you think?
Spalding? So you think Spalding's out?
What was your question again?
You think Spalding's out? With J.B. Pritzker. Yeah.
Well, I think that it would. To me, I just don't see where there is room for a Pritzker versus Kennedy primary.
Mm.
And then you got to figure there's going to be an African American candidate involved there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And why shouldn't there be? And then then you've got your Amaya Pawar. I don't know how much money he could ever raise, but he's going to be in there, and he's a very thoughtful young progressive.
Yeah.
Pawar. And I think it could be quite a race.
Well, with Chris,
if in fact that happens.
With Chris Kennedy,
I can't. But the question being, I can't see how logically J.B. Pritzker would get involved if Chris Kennedy is already involved.
Well, the good news is
I don't see it.
The good news is with Chris Kennedy, the Democrats will have an opportunity to learn to love billionaires again.
Isn't that something they're going to have to? Well, I think it's going to help the governor because the billionaire Bruce narrative will have to go away.
Right, exactly. But with respect to the governor, the incumbent governor, Ronner, where do you think he is right now and the Democrats' assessment of his relative strength? Does Kennedy's money crowd people out? You mentioned Pritzker. Does it really crowd people out and make him the presumptive nominee? Or is there a feeling that Ronner is weak such that there are people that are willing to risk their legislative seats to take a shot or their congressional seats like Bustos to take a shot?
Well, that was a kind of, a complicated question, but, I think it does crowd out a lot of other people. I think the downstate Chicago Democrat argument persists, and I think they're going to have to figure that one out. But I think that the fact that Chris Kennedy jumped in, and he's jumping in with some, he's got some fairly significant Democratic consultants working with him. I think this is an effort to crowd the rest of them out.
Did Chris Kennedy?
The rest of them getting in.
Yeah, during your interview with Chris Kennedy, did he seem upbeat? Does he seem optimistic? Does he? I think this is his time.
He seems very lucid. He didn't have any specifics on how he was going to, turn the state around, if you will, to use some Rauner syntax. He didn't give me any specifics. He gave nobody any specifics. Everything was Bruce Rauner's bad, Bruce Rauner's bad. Everything was about Bruce Rauner being the bad guy, and I'm going to be the good guy. That's all he really offers at this point. But he sounds like he could be an effective candidate. He's not the most charismatic guy when you just look at him or walk around. But he seems to really understand the buzzwords that'll get him going inside the blue bubble. How that's going to play downstate, I don't know in this era. But up here, I think he can be an effective candidate.
All right.
In the city of Chicago.
He is Charles Thomas, political reporter for ABC7. Charles, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Charles. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Today you can see it. That sunshine is glowing, and it's going to be cold, though, a high of 25 degrees. Tonight, a low of 18. And for Friday, mostly cloudy, breezy, milder, a high of 42. Let's get into the new Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Rough weather in the Northeast is causing flight cancellations here. About 200 cancellations between O'Hare and Midway, and there are, well over 2,000 flights nationally canceled. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25 up to Kennedy. Now an hour and 6 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 38 minutes from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Outbound 31 minutes to the airport, the Eisenhower. An hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 54 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 39 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 9 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36 minutes. The Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is brutal from Hollywood to North Avenue. 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound bottled up, 31st to the Stevenson. Northbound Veterans Memorial, jammed from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing mortgage, then call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a home, David has great news. FHA just reduced their mortgage insurance by 1/4 point. Now, this means the monthly mortgage insurance on an FHA loan just decreased $42 a month or $500 a year on a $200,000 FHA loan. This is a huge game changer for anybody looking to purchase a home. Why? This helps offset the rate increase the market has experienced since the election. FHA loans are outstanding for home buyers who have a down payment of at least 3.5%, which can be a gift from a family member. So if you're interested in purchasing a home and would like to work with the FHA home loan expert, then call David now. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pro Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Hey, last year's mild winter was nice. So far, though, we haven't been so lucky. Snowstorms, bitter cold, the price we pay for living here. So it's important to have a heating and cooling company you know you can depend on. That company is the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling. They aren't one of those massive companies with newer technicians and subcontractors. Family-owned and operated, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling send only their own highly skilled technicians. From service to installation and everything in between, the work quality and customer service is the best. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling keeps homes and businesses comfy and warm. Call Carrie at 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. That's Carrie at 847-545-1700 or online at arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. Mention AM560 and receive 20% off your first service call. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, just the best.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Governor Greg Abbott is threatening any Texas city that becomes a sanctuary city. That if you don't reverse course and cease and desist your sanctuary city status, the state's going to cut you off. Man, that's the way to do it. It's my hope that Trump's going to do the same thing.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
They're here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies, and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Your business requires protection. Break-ins, vandalism, and fires happen, so it's important to prevent losses. That's why for over half a century, Chicagoland companies have trusted Active Alarm Company. From planning and installation to maintenance and monitoring, Active Alarm are the protection pros. Active Alarm Company is a UL-listed alarm service company and a platinum-level Honeywell-authorized security dealer, one of 22 nationally and only 2 in Illinois. And you'll always speak live with a team member. Active Alarm offers the newest equipment, including security, fire, access control, video systems, and the most responsive technical support. So if you need your first alarm system, an updated system, or monitoring, call Active Alarm Company for your free security analysis and quote at 847-438-2600 or visit activealarm.com. The protection pros at Active Alarm Company are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Honeywell authorized security dealer. That's 847-438-2600 or online at activealarm.com. License number 127000541.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
In advance of Saturday's protest rallies against Planned Parenthood throughout the nation, former Planned Parenthood workers speak out. We'll have it at 8:08.
Ooh, and later, why one state is trying to ban the declawing of cats. Meow. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. One person wounded in an officer-involved shooting near Union Station. Chris Kennedy announces a bid for Illinois governor. There are new details this morning on a police shooting in Forest Park. Blackhawks beat the Wild, and a cold day ahead with plenty of sunshine. We will top out at 25. Full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They are Democrats from red states that President Trump carried. 4 of them set to have lunch with the president. Hopes they will support his Supreme Court nominee. This after the president tweeted a swipe at another Democrat. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The White House confirms that Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch told a U.S. senator that President Trump's tweets about the judiciary are demoralizing and disheartening. But the president took to Twitter this morning to write Senator Richard Blumenthal, who never fought in Vietnam when he said for years he had, major lie, now misrepresents what Judge Gorsuch told him, ? White House counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway.
He's saying that the judge has been misrepresented and some of his comments have been distorted.
Over the weekend, the president referred to the Seattle judge who issued a restraining order on his executive order on immigration as, quote, the so-called judge. Dave?
Well, John, the president's about to have a breakfast meeting with airline CEOs, and it is a tough day to be an airline scheduler. Nearly 3,000 flights are canceled as a snowstorm dumps on the Northeast.
It's always good fun to have a little snow day, have off of work, kids out playing.
He's in Philadelphia. Schools are closed from there up to Boston.
Really kind of whiteout conditions. We just saw 5 plows go by. We're going to see around 2 to 3 inches an hour fall during the height of this storm, and we're really in the thick of it right now.
That's Fox 5's Liz Dahlem out on Route 3 in New Jersey. Some areas could get over a foot of snow. Jeff Sessions will be sworn in as Attorney General the morning after the Senate confirmed him.
I have been given a real challenge. I'll do my best to be worthy of it.
Also being sworn in today, Luther Strange. He's Alabama's Republican Attorney General appointed to replace Sessions in the Senate. A low point for a high wire act. Practicing for the Sarasota Circus in Florida, 5 performers fell yesterday up to 30 feet, had to be hospitalized. Famed tightrope walker Nick Wallenda was involved in that stunt but was not hurt, and the circus still plans to hold opening night tomorrow. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sunshine, 12 degrees above, a wind chill of -5. 8:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. One person is dead after a car crashes into a pole on Chicago's northwest side. The crash happened early this morning in the 4200 block of West Diversey Avenue. Now, police say a passenger in that car died at the scene. The driver took off. No one is in custody. Democrats in the Illinois Senate say they're not giving up just yet. Leaders say the so-called grand bargain is still alive in spite of yesterday's collapse when not a single Republican voted for the bargain's reforms. The son of the late Robert F. Kennedy is entering the 2018 Illinois governor's race.
I'm running for governor because the state is headed in the wrong direction. I believe in working with others and not telling them what to do. I believe that compromise is not surrender. That's how I think our state should work.
Chicago businessman Kennedy announcing his candidacy yesterday on YouTube. Police in Forest Park are providing new details this morning about last Friday's officer-involved fatal shooting. Deputy Chief Michael Keating says 26-year-old Marco Gomez was driving a suspected stolen car near Jackson and Harlem when the officer approached on foot and stood in front of that car. Keating says Gomez drove the car at the officer, who then fired into the vehicle. Illinois State Police Public Integrity Squad investigating that shooting. Golden State beat the Bulls. Jonathan Taves' power play goal in overtime gave the Blackhawks a win over the Wild 4-3. College hoops, number 24 Xavier over DePaul. Northern Iowa passed Southern in the Valley. Evansville clipped Loyola. The news, a service of Unbound. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a new story. See potential, not poverty, at unbound.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of turnkey.pro. From the Fox Business Network, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, a lot of earnings reports out this morning, topping expectations. Healthy numbers from drugstore chain CVS, which reported fourth quarter earnings of $1.71 billion and a profit of $1.59 a share. Yum Brands also beating profit forecasts, with stronger sales at KFC and Taco Bell offsetting struggles at Pizza Hut. Coca-Cola had a strong fourth quarter, but its revenues falling for a sixth consecutive quarter. The world's largest beverage maker earned 13 cents a share a year ago. The company earned 28 cents a share. The company building the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline says it plans to immediately resume work now that it's gotten a green light from the federal government. And some 3,000 flights canceled across the country as a powerful storm sweeps across the Northeast. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Guys, Valentine's Day is next week. Luckily, Pro Flowers is offering an unbelievable deal. 1 dozen red roses plus a free glass vase and chocolates for $29.99 plus shipping and handling. Order now from Pro Flowers. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this weekend. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3535. That's proflowers.com. Secret code 3535.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 0808 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 0808.
8:06. Let's get an update on the roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the southbound tri-state, we're seeing heavy delays from 132 to Eau Plaine, where a crash just moved to the right shoulder. Northbound, it's slow going. The 83rd Street toll to the Hinsdale Oasis, head from the Reagan toll into Newark Avenue. Veterans Memorial, northbound stop and go Boughton to the Reagan tollway, and southbound Army Trail to Roosevelt. It's heavier than usual on 53 southbound this morning. Really slow ran to Kirchhoff. The Edens is 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 28. The Kennedy, an hour from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 11 minutes from Thorndale to Duluth. 56 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 38 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 11 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Michael Stack.
Very cold despite plenty of sunshine. Today's high 24. Seasonably cold with some patchy clouds tonight. Lows 17. Cloudy, breezy, and a bit milder. Friday high 43. Milder with mostly cloudy skies. Saturday high 50. I'm Michael Stack on AM 560. The Answer.
13 degrees at O'Hare, 15 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
And I don't ever want to call a court biased, so I won't call it biased. And we haven't had a decision yet. But courts seem to be so political.
Unbelievably, we are not so very far from the problems of 1963.
We need change, not incremental change, but fundamental change. I'm running for governor because the state is headed in the wrong direction.
Very well. If that is the way the winds are blowing, let no one say I don't also blow.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, there are marches, protests, rallies planned in some 44 states, more than 200 rallies to protest against funding, the continued funding of Planned Parenthood by the federal government. That's this Saturday. And including in Chicago, it'll be near Planned Parenthood abortion clinics. And we have talked about this before many times as we present evidence for your consideration. We presented the evidence that was gathered by David DeLayden, the Center for Medical Progress, about Planned Parenthood trafficking illegally in baby body parts. There are congressional investigations ongoing into that, and state investigations ongoing as well. We have more recently, through the work of Live Action, another pro-life group, that phoned Planned Parenthood clinics around the country asking if they would provided prenatal care services, because this was something that Cecile the Lion Richards, the president of Planned Parenthood, and other Planned Parenthood executives have said. This is our focus plan, prenatal care. Prenatal care is what we do. It turns out it's less than 1% of Planned Parenthood's budget, and it's not what they do, as 92 of 97 clinics that were contacted by Live Action said they don't provide prenatal care.
Right. And I even called the 3 clinics here, one on the west side, one in Bucktown, and one on Division in LaSalle. And the one in Austin has a new type of abortion. It's an at-home abortion. So you take a pill at the clinic, and then the next day you take another pill, and you basically self-abort while you're at home without the medical care of a doctor. And they said it could be so painful that you need to, if you go to school, stay home from school, and if you work, stay home from work. I mean, it just seems barbaric, and I had never heard about it before. But that's one of their options when you call the main menu. main menu.
Yeah.
Number 2, and they'll tell you all about it on the main menu. And then you can call and get further details. But I never even knew that it's called the medical abortion pill.
Don't you find
That's not the day after pill. That's different.
Don't you find it interesting that so many of Planned Parenthood's abortion clinics are in low-income, minority neighborhoods? Not in Highland Park, not in Glencoe. Did you find that interesting? Why do you think that is, by chance? Because the people who fund Planned Parenthood, who are on the Planned Parenthood's board and Personal PAC's board in this state, that's where they live, the North Shore, North Shore women, basically. So why don't they have these great women's health clinics where they live? I wonder why that is. Well, Live Action has another video. This is not an undercover one. This is straight away. Lila Rose from Live Action interviewing former Planned Parenthood employees, Planned Parenthood workers. And it turns out that at Planned Parenthood, they kind of have like a Glengarry, Glen Ross thing. Whoever generates the most abortions, first prize is Cadillac, second prize, set of steak knives, third prize, you're fired. Sue Thayer, who was worked at a family planning clinic for Planned Parenthood, explains the quotas and the pressure to make your numbers because they're about women's health care, not about pressuring them into abortion, right?
Every center had a goal for how many abortions were done. And centers that didn't do abortions, like mine that were family planning clinics, had a goal for the number of abortion referrals. And it was on this big grid, and if we hit our goal, our line was green. If we were 5% under, it was yellow. If we were 10% under, it was red. That's when we needed to have a corrective action plan, why we didn't hit the goal, what we're going to do differently next time. So we were really very goal-oriented. I trained my staff the way that I was trained, which was to really encourage women to choose abortion, to have it at Planned Parenthood, because that counts as, towards our goal. We would try to get the appointment scheduled for the abortion before they left our clinic. We would say things like, your pregnancy test, your visit today is X number of dollars. How much are you going to be able to pay towards that? If they'd say, I'm not able to pay today, then we would say something like, well, if you can't pay $10 today, how are you going to take care of a baby? Have you priced diapers? Do you know how much it costs to buy a car seat? Where would you go for help? There's no place in Storm Lake.
Yeah, or wherever. Well, there are places that are called crisis pregnancy centers, but of course Planned Parenthood is not going to refer young women to those places to apprise them of their options. In addition to that, I thought that the mantra of the pro-choice movement was safe, legal, and rare. So it's not rare. That's not really what they're interested in. That's interesting. Also, incentives for performance, like pizza parties.
We would have things like pizza parties. Occasionally they would say you can have 2 hours of PTO. If your center consistently hit goal and you were green all the time, like 3 months in a row, you might be center manager of the month and get to go to Des Moines and have lunch, with the upper management or something. So there were incentives built in, and it sounds kind of crazy, but pizza is a motivator.
So pizza party.
Pizza party.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to move abortions to get free pizza, a small price to pay.
Planned Parenthood claims that all the money they get from the government, none of it goes toward abortion.
It's not ghoulish at all, is this? Is
No.
this the conversation you're hearing? The details you're getting from Sue Thayer? That's not ghoulish at all. Pizza party. If you meet your quota for abortions.
Cringy. Cringeworthy.
It's not an isolated position that Ms. Thayer has. Marianne Anderson is a former nurse at Planned Parenthood. She described how she felt about the culture there.
I felt like I was more of a salesman sometimes to sell abortions. And we were told on a regular basis that you have a quota to meet to keep this clinic open.
Mm-hmm. So, and this is what we should provide $500 million a year for in everybody's money? Is that what you want? How much of a priority should that be? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. How much of a priority should defunding Planned Parenthood be? Something that Paul Ryan has said is going to happen. And they're digging in, Cecile, and also playing politics because, when you got that much money at stake, of course you're going to do that. Cecile Richards saying recently that, she's ready to sit down and make a deal with Donald Trump. They're always willing to be reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about that? What should we understand about the true nature of Planned Parenthood from the evidence that's been gathered just over the last year? The scales falling from some eyes out there, does it not matter? Because I know for many that many on the left, abortion is like some kind of perverse sacrament, and they're just impervious to evidence. But I know that there are a lot of people who change their minds when they're presented with the evidence and change their hearts when they're presented with this ghoulish evidence. And, for those who think, everybody's locked in, so we can't talk about it because it makes people uncomfortable and you're not going to change any minds. Really? Just remember this. This is the greatest conversion story of all.
Donald Trump's conversion story that we never heard?
Hardly. Roe.
Oh, yeah.
Norma
Right,
McCorvey.
Yeah.
The Roe in Roe v. Wade went from being the plaintiff in that case to a pro-life activist. And, of course, you have some conversion stories similar to former Planned Parenthood workers who just couldn't be part of this gruesome, violent business any longer, including those two that Lila Rose spoke to.
I remember we had a woman call in here who used to work for Planned Parenthood. She was in the Houston office.
Abby Johnson. She's another pro-life heroine now, reformed Planned Parenthood. Yeah, she ran a Planned Parenthood clinic. That's right, one that was involved in the baby body parts business. And here's the thing, too. I've made this point before in the discussion, but I want to make it again for emphasis. This is not to castigate or moralize with respect to women who've had an abortion. The pro-life movement shouldn't be seen as antagonistic towards those women. It's not. It's a hospital to help those women who've had abortions heal, because we know that abortion, it hurts women as well. So the criticism from the pro-abort movement that all pro-lifers are interested in is the unborn child and not the women and women in difficult circumstances. The hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crisis pregnancy centers that care for both mother and child give lie to that contention. So it is strictly about putting the evidence out there, and you make up your own minds if you think this is something that enhances our culture, that is part of what makes America great, or looking back on the last 44 years of this culture. And I mean, in parts before that, but the statement that this is a constitutional right and the statement by the left that it's some kind of moral imperative. Boy, do you look back on that fondly? Do you look back on it and say, that's central to who we are as a free people? That's what makes America great, and there's been no negative consequences to that. And do you ask yourself questions about, like I started the segment with, boy, why are the clinics here and not there? What do we know?
They're serving their customers.
Right, but they're serving customers that the people spearheading Planned Parenthood, the real pro-aborts, the radical, rabid pro-aborts, they're racists. Those people shouldn't have any more children. And I've been at cocktail parties on the leafy North Shore with the enlightened, well-educated who've said exactly that. Those people, who are they talking about?
African Americans.
Loyola Academy students? I don't think so. No. They're talking about minorities. So that's why, to your point about calling the clinic in Austin, for example.
The things that they offer only there. Only here can you find this new treatment. Get an abortion at home.
Jim in Milwaukee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Great show as always, guys. Here's what I'm thinking, and I joined your show late, but if there are quotas and somebody is saying, in order to keep this clinic open, we have to hit a certain quota, what that says is there's a financial incentive. And if you follow the money back, are we not headed right back to the fact that they're marketing, they're selling body parts? I mean, is that, or what is the other source of revenue? Because the quota is not driven by federal funding. The quota is driven by something else.
Well, thanks for the culture. It's $1 billion business. So $500 million from the federal government, $500 million, rough numbers, from abortions. I mean, 300 and some thousand abortions a year. That's their business. That's what Planned Parenthood does.
Acting like the victims because they're so afraid that their federal funding is going to be yanked, that they're having all these fundraisers. I mean, knit a hat. Proceeds go to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
My friend Sue's having a fundraiser for Planned Parenthood.
Of course she is.
On May 5th.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit down and ask her, what she knows about Planned Parenthood.
Oh, yeah. That'll be...
Well, no, I want to have an adult conversation with her, why she's doing this and what she perceives, where the financial need is.
Godspeed with that conversation. Rick in Oak Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I love you, Sue.
I think as a man, I'll listen to the women's voices. And if Katie Couric says that the fetus now is a person that can decide its own gender, then I think that settles the issue.
Yeah.
We say, yep, you got it. You people on the left have finally figured out that the unborn human is an unborn human being since conception, and as it grows through the 9-month situation, it's a person that's going to be making choices in utero. Therefore, the abortion issue has now been settled by the left.
Yeah, no, you're right. Thanks for the call, Rick. And it's not. I got to admit, it's nice when Katie Couric does our work for us. I agree.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
By the way, in a related story, there is taxpayer funding of abortion bill that is weaving its way through the Illinois General Assembly, just so you know. So you may want to perk your ears up at what's going on at the state level here as well.
All right. Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine, but chilly, a high of 25 degrees. Tonight, a low of 18. And tomorrow, the clouds roll in here again. It'll be mostly cloudy, breezy, and milder, though. A high of 42 degrees. Let's get those travel times. How's the inbound Kennedy doing? Here's Jim Talamonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Well, Amy, on your inbound Kennedy, the delays start around Foster. It's an hour and 10 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 46 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express. Outbound 32 to the airport. Eden's heavy on the spur from the Tri-State to Waukegan Road, and southbound Waukegan Road is back up to Dundee's. Real bottleneck there. The outbound Eden's 27 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook. The inbound is just 20 once you get past the spur delays. The Eisenhower, an hour and 17 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, an hour and 2 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 36 minutes to Thorndale. The Stevenson is an hour and 17 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35 minutes. Ryan, 34 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is rough, 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. And northbound very slow, 31st to the Stevenson. Southbound Tri-State, stop and go 132 to Eau Plaine after a crash. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is this Tuesday. Wow, already? And 2 words you never thought you'd hear together, flirty and flannel. Not anymore. Introducing flirty flannel pajamas. Woo! The experts at pajamagram.com took the warm flannel she loves and made it into a sexy PJ that you'll love too. Who knew flannel could be this sexy? These pajamas reinvent classic flannel with a flirty twist just for you. So delivery is guaranteed by Valentine's Day, but you must order right now. Visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. Say goodbye to boring flannel pajamas and say hello to flirty flannel. Flirty flannel pajamas exclusively at pajamagram.com. And you don't even have to wrap, guys, because every pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Delivery is guaranteed, so visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs and tell them Dan and Amy sent you.
The sounds of an accident. You or a loved one has been injured. Your mind is racing. What happened? Is everyone okay? What now?
I'm Dan Compton of Compton Law Group. We know that at a time like this, you want answers. More importantly, you want justice for what has taken place. If you or a loved one has been injured, please, before you sign something or talk to anyone, call Compton Law Group. This is our specialty, fighting for your rights, fighting for you, and making sure that justice is served. You can reach me at 847-742-6100. That's 847-742-6100. It's my job to make sure that you, your family, and your loved ones are protected and compensated properly. We handle nursing home accidents, car, truck, and motorcycle accidents, construction accidents, and medical malpractice.
When accidents happen, and they will happen, make sure you have Compton Law Group on your side. 847-742-6100 or online at ComptonLawGroup.net. When accidents happen, take the appropriate action with Compton Law Group, located in Elgin and serving all of Chicagoland.
February is the month of love, and you're going to love the savings at Schrank Smoke & Gun. Now through February 22nd, all-in stock ammo and reloading components are 20% off, so now is the time to stock up. Get to Schrank Smoke & Gun, where you'll find the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County, and you'll avoid the Cook County firearm and ammo tax. For repairs, cleaning, and custom work, Schrank's has on-site gunsmithing at fair, reasonable rates. And cigar lovers, be sure to check out Schrank's extensive cigar selection. Don't wait. Hurry into Schrank Smoke & Gun for the best selection during the 20% off ammo sale now through February 22nd. Visit smokethenN.gun.org for information or call 847-662-4034. That's 847-662-4034 or online at smokethenN.gun.org. Schrank Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
This is very exciting news. Did you hear about it? There's a huge lead in the case of who done it. Who took Tom Brady's missing jersey? Are you ready?
Yeah.
It may not be stolen after all.
I know who did it.
Well, who did it?
Bridget Monahan.
Oh, I was thinking about her and the child that they had together.
Jack.
Oh, Jack?
Jack needs the $500,000 that he can fetch from the jersey.
It may be on an 18-wheeler that was packed up right after the game. So TMZ Sports spoke with law enforcement sources. They say that they're hopeful that the jersey was put on with a team equipment truck that is on its way to Boston. So it left NRG Stadium, within 2 hours after the Super Bowl, and that's where all the player equipment is. So they think the smelly, stinky jersey might be on that truck.
I'm so glad we're getting interagency law enforcement cooperation on this massive story, that we're devoting the necessary resources
well,
to
guess where this information came from? Texas Rangers, because they're on it. They're working with the Houston police to solve this, because it is worth a lot of money.
All they need to do is just put Chuck Norris individually on the case. They'll have it wrapped up in 15 minutes.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, my name is Ray McElroy, former Chicago Bears player and chaplain, and founder and CEO of the nonprofit Array of Hope on Earth. Running a successful nonprofit organization that serves at-risk, underserved youth in the inner city of Chicago presents its own set of challenges. I am so relieved that as a small, newer organization, we don't have to count our payroll and HR responsibilities as one of them because of the amazing service we receive from Precision Payroll of America. Not only do I appreciate the professional quality of Precision Payroll of America, but I also love that their values of faith, family, and fair and comprehensive service align perfectly with our own.
Thank you, Ray. For our great services, call me at 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com. To support a great cause, check out arrayofhopeonearth.org.
Tom, you're the best, bro.
No, man, you're the best.
No, you're the best.
Oh, you the man.
No, for real, though, you the man.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I'm excited to tell you about Bert and Will Plastic Surgery and Laser Center. Childbearing, breastfeeding, weight gain, weight loss, or normal aging can cause a level of concern about our appearance. Oh, I know, and unfortunately, dieting, exercise, and healthy lifestyles aren't always enough. Dr. Bert offers the Mommy Makeover, including a tummy tuck and breast augmentation with the new memory-shaped implants. Dr. Will specializes in Botox, neck lifts, and many other procedures to uncover the beauty within. And now men and women can benefit from the great new NeoGraft hair transplant treatment that requires minimal downtime and no scarring. Doctors Bert and Will are female board-certified plastic surgeons. I've met them. I love them. I recommend you meet them too. You can receive a complimentary consultation at any of their Chicagoland offices or just register for a seminar. Call 630-930-3555 or visit uncovermybeauty.com. That's 630-930-3555 or uncovermybeauty.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I know who could win the white privilege essay contest going on in Connecticut. Andrew Klavan, screenwriter and author of The Great Good Thing, joins us at 8:38 to talk politics and culture.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 14 degrees and sunshine. Flight cancellations piling up as some of the big winter storm snowfall numbers in the Northeast. 3,000 flights affected. That backs up things at O'Hare quite significantly this morning. President Trump is meeting with airline and airport executives today. They're talking about improving U.S. airports and the air traffic control system. Opening statements today in the first of 3 trials connected to the 2014 standoff near Klavan Bundy's ranch outside Las Vegas. In all, 17 people face conspiracy and other charges. An accident has sent 5 members of a high-wire act to a Florida hospital. 2 days before Circus Sarasota was to open, the performers were practicing an 8-person pyramid when 5 lost their balance and fell 30 feet to the ground. The stunt did involve famed tightrope walker Nick Wallenda, but he was not among the injured. 1 person is dead here in Chicago after a vehicle crashes into a pole on Chicago's northwest side. 1 person has been critically wounded, and police continue to investigate after a person was shot near Union Station. Police in Forest Park are providing new details about last Friday's officer-involved fatal shooting. Deputy Chief Michael Keating says 26-year-old Marco Gomez was driving a suspected stolen car near Jackson and Harlem when an officer approached on foot and stood in front of the car. Forest Park police say Gomez drove that car at the officer, who then fired his service weapon. No one in custody after 4 luxury cars that were stolen from a warehouse in Chicago's Goose Island neighborhood were later found less than a mile away. Police say multiple people broke into the Perillo warehouse early this morning in the 1300 block of North Branch Street and swiped 4 BMWs. Vehicles were later recovered near Milwaukee and Augusta with no damage. Golden State hammered the Bulls. Blackhawks an overtime win over the Wild. And the news a service of Advance Auto Parts. Advance Auto Parts introduces Speed Perks reward programs. Spend $100 and get $20 off your next qualified purchase. No cards, no points, no nonsense. See details online at advanceautoparts.com. 8:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the left to keep quiet.
We keep hearing about what we are. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. That's become the left's mantra all of a sudden. I love them telling us who we are. You know who we are? We're a country that elected the person you didn't want to win. Who we are is not who you wanted us to be.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. 1 click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just 1 click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/easyhire.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents a story about pickles.
It's 2 a.m. and your pregnant wife needs pickles. So you pick up some green happiness, but hit a parked car. Great, something else to worry about. Luckily, Liberty Mutual Insurance has 24/7 claims assistance, so you can take care of your claim right away. Problem solved. Now, if only you bought the right pickles.
Visit a local office or call 844-8-LIBERTY. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Our time is 8:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're up to about 200 flight cancellations at Chicago's airports and nearly 3,000 nationally due to that weather in the Northeast. Eastbound Eden Spur really jammed this morning from the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. There are delays on Waukegan Road as well. Big delays approaching the Spur. The Edens itself is just 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, though, an hour and 10 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Much quicker in the Express, outbound 27 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 21 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, an hour and 4 minutes from Manheim, outbound 38 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 16 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5. Ryan, 34 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State delays are northbound. The 83rd Street Toll to the Hinsdale Oasis, the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, Veterans Memorial, little slow Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Quite cold with some sunshine today, high 25. A chilly low of 18 overnight. Breezy and milder tomorrow, high 42. Currently, 13 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, here's how small the world is.
Yeah.
Our next guest, a friend of mine, her dad hired his dad to do afternoons on WOR radio in New York in the 70s.
Wow. So your cousin's cousin.
No, my friend.
No, your friend's
dad hired Andrew Klavan's father to do afternoon radio on WOR in New York.
Wow, I am blown away.
How about that?
I mean, what a small world we live in, really.
Without further ado, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Andrew Klavan, screenwriter, author of the new book, which is an excellent read and really an incredible conversion story. The book is The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. Andrew, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for getting my dad some work.
No problem. I'll pass along your thanks to my friend.
Yeah.
So you, speaking of your conversion story, you attended the National Prayer Breakfast the other week and wrote an interesting piece about it on Pajamas Media. Give our friends and listening audience your takeaways for the National Prayer Breakfast.
Yeah, first of all, it was really fun to be there. I mean, it was and it was kind of an inspiring event, I mean, I'm pretty cynical about politics. I think we all have gotten cynical about politics. But here were both left-wing Democrats and right-wing conservatives talking about the Bible study and prayer meetings that they hold every single week in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, where people from both sides of the aisle get together and study the Bible and pray. And as one of the senators said, it's hard to stab a man in the back after you've prayed with him. It's not impossible, but it's hard. What he said. And it's funny because this is the stuff, of course, that the media never cover. They never talk about this aspect of our governance, that a lot of it is keyed into the core values that come from the Bible. And there's just, anybody who studies history, anybody who studies the history of ideas knows that we would not have the system we have, the Constitution we have, the Declaration we have, without the history of ideas that comes directly from the Bible to us, and you can't remove that bottom block of the Jenga tower without the tower falling over. And the other thing, I know that Trump got hit for his remark about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have to say that I was there, and it was kind of inappropriate and out of the blue, and it was against the spirit of the thing. It was kind of a weird. It almost felt like he was a fish out of water, that he didn't really feel comfortable at this place. But I have to say, before he spoke, the Senate chaplain, Barry Black, who is also a rear admiral, got up, and he gave a sermon that rocked the House. I mean, he turned a bunch of, K Street lawyers and lobbyists into a Southern Baptist church where people were on their feet, waving their hands in the air, shouting amen. And it was I just thought if any senator is actually going to the Senate chaplain for spiritual guidance, we're in much better shape than we think we are.
Well, that's encouraging.
And I didn't know that there were weekly Bible studies and prayer groups. I had no idea. So thanks for bringing that to our attention.
I had no idea either, and I just think it's part of, I gave a little speech at the Media Fellowship dinner the night before, which Cal Thomas runs, and one of the things I was trying to talk about was the way the news media and Hollywood create this narrative that eliminates, like, God from the actual facts of life. And I was talking about movies like the Johnny Cash biopic, Walk the Line. Johnny Cash was a devoted follower of Christ. It was all he had in a life of great turmoil. That fact of his life was reduced to a 15-second scene of him walking into a church with Reese Witherspoon, scene that I just happened to know was cut back from a longer scene, but what made it into the movie was just this 20-second scene of him walking into a church. The same thing was true with the movie Unbroken, about the Olympic runner who was tortured by the Japanese. If you read the book, virtually the last third of the book is after the war. He comes home and his life is in ruins because of the post-traumatic stress of being tortured brutally. And Billy Graham brings him to Christ and turns his life around. I mean, the change that becoming a Christian made in his life is so moving. When you read the book, I dare anyone to read this book without just weeping over the salvation of this guy, cut out of the movie, just left out of the movie. And, they always have an excuse. They always have a reason for doing it, but the opposite never happens. And there's just one other thing I have to share with you, because I do work in Hollywood and I work in the industry, is they make these Bible movies that alienate the people who would love Bible movies. So they make a movie about Moses, and the star Christian Bale goes on TV and says Moses was kind of like a terrorist, And they make a movie about Noah, and it's all about environmentalism. They can't imagine what sin would look like except that it's environment. So the people who would love to go to Bible movies stay home, and the movies bomb. And then if you go to a studio and you pitch a Bible idea, they say, well, Bible movies bomb. We don't make Bible movies anymore.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's because you keep insulting the audience.
Although, Mel Gibson would beg to differ in terms of Bible movies bombing. And the other lesson from the Louis Zamperini story, Unbroken, how great the book was. And this is an important lesson for you as somebody who's had his novels optioned into movies, true crime, Don't Say a Word. Don't have Angelina Jolie direct to do the directorial interpretation of your book. So that's the lesson from Unbroken.
That may be the whole trick right there. Yeah.
So just sticking on the Hollywood thing, since you're on the inside there, I note the story out of Variety that Tiny Dancer's brother Ari out there is starting a PAC for Hollywood types to oppose Trump. And then we also have had both, two of the two best basketball players in the world, Steph Curry and LeBron James, both weigh in on Trump unfavorably. And, the tendency is sometimes to say, oh, well, we're not going to pay attention to anybody who's critical. And now those are just Hollywood types, and those are just athletes. And what do they know? I don't look to them for my, understanding of the world or for instruction on my, philosophical beliefs. And okay, but you can't dismiss the cultural power they have, and that certainly relates to the movie-making business. And I just wonder if you'd comment on the importance of culture and pop culture on our civic sensibility, such that people who may not like what is emanating from Hollywood or emanating from ESPN or professional sports shouldn't just ignore it. They should push back and provide kind of an alternative view.
Yeah, it's really true, and this is a problem we have on the right all the time. I have almost despaired of talking to conservatives about this because they just don't get it. They don't understand why they should even care about Hollywood when Hollywood insults them so much. Hollywood is in a bubble. I mean, when you have an agency essentially forming a political PAC, this is a talent agency, two talent agencies, essentially forming a political PAC to defy Donald Trump. My union, which is the Writers Guild, which is an excellent union in terms of protecting you as a writer in Hollywood, is also so politicized to the left that I'm embarrassed to pay my dues. I mean, it's very difficult for a guy to get work as a writer without being part of the Writers Guild, and at the same time they are doing this work, this political work on the left. If you are pitching an idea, I have been in situations that I can't even tell you about, where I have tried to sell an idea and my pitch was destroyed by the fact that I wouldn't agree with the producer about what an evil guy George W. Bush was, or wouldn't attack Trump in the room because I won't say stuff that isn't true, that I don't believe. And so this is it's not necessarily a blacklist. It's not like I'm on a list of names where I can't get hired. It's just that it's a very difficult situation where before you can sell an idea, you have to go with your friend to a left-wing, a Hillary Clinton fundraiser. Well, you're not going to get that job, right? Because you're not going to go. So the result is that all these movies come out, and they affect people's sense of reality over time. It's not one movie. It's not that movie or this movie. It's all of the movies, all of the television shows, all of the sports reports that come out of this atmosphere, so that it may not be you, it may not affect you, but it's going to affect your kids. It's going to affect kids in school who get their news from, late night comedy shows and things like this. And over time, this eats away the ground beneath your feet. My friend Andrew Breitbart loved to say that politics is downstream from culture. Things happen in the culture, and then by the time the election comes and a Barack Obama gets elected, it's too late. It's too late to do anything about it. And conservatives are left with this kind of quizzical look on their face. How did we lose the country? Well, you lost it at the movies. You lost it on TV. You lost it in all the places where the culture is made. And instead of complaining about it, which is all conservatives ever do, too much sex, too much violence, why isn't there more G-rated, why aren't there more G-rated religious movies, while they're going to the movies that are being made and watching the shows, we should be creating stuff. We should be supporting artists. We should have an infrastructure of reviews and awards that the left has to celebrate art that shows what's good about America. And there's just no way to get through to the think tanks who are dealing with policy and, voter rolls and things like this and do not want to deal with the culture. I don't know. I really have despaired. I'm going again to give a speech tomorrow in Colorado about this, and you look out at the faces, and they kind of look at you like, well, this is interesting, but it's not important. It's not important like immigration law is important. It's not important like regulation law. And they lose the country over the long run because this is the long game that the left knows how to play, and we don't.
Yeah. Right. He is Andrew Klavan, screenwriter we were just discussing, and the author of the new book, The Great Good Thing, Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. Andrew, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's great talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Plenty of sunshine today, but it is cold and crisp out there. A high of 25 degrees. Tonight, a low of 18. And for your Friday, it's going to be mostly cloudy, breezy, but a lot milder. A high of 42 degrees. Let's go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and say good morning once again to Jim Delamonte.
Good morning, Amy. We've got a big mess at Waukegan Road and the Eden Spur. There's road work on Waukegan Road southbound. It's down to one lane, and this has the eastbound spur just jammed from the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. Big delays between Waukegan Road and Dundee. Eden's itself not bad at all. 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Inbound Kennedy delays start at Foster. An hour and 5 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 46 minutes from Montrose, 36 in the Express. Outbound 29 minutes to O'Hare. The Ike, though, is an hour and 33 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, an hour 14 from Manheim. Outbound 42 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 31st, and then at 290. The other tollways are good. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get you through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. That's why I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center, FDA approved. They accept most health insurance. They're in-network for most providers and have flexible hours, including on Saturdays, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. Sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me. 630-409-4305. That number again, 630-409-4305. Call Low T Center at 409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity presented by upstream-ideas.com. Emerson contended that foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. So is politicized inconsistency. A useful comparison presented itself with Trump's nomination of Judge Neil Gorsuch the same week the fires of intolerance literally burned on the campus of UC Berkeley. Gorsuch noted that if confirmed, he would occupy the seat held by both Justices Antonin Scalia and Robert Jackson. His inclusion of the underappreciated Jackson was telling. In the seminal case of West Virginia State Board of Ed v. Barnett, arguing that compulsory unification of opinion achieves only the unanimity of the graveyard, Jackson held that students didn't have to salute the American flag or recite the pledge, and thereby protected the religious liberty rights of Jehovah's Witnesses. Gorsuch's jurisprudence has been similarly enlightened, consistently protecting the religious liberty rights of those ranging from Little Sisters of the Poor to an imprisoned Muslim man convicted of rape. Contrast that with the scene at Berkeley, the birthplace and now resting place of the campus free speech movement. Students committed acts of violence because they were intent on silencing a conservative speaker. Shall America chart her course with big thinkers like Gorsuch or Berkeley's small-minded hobgoblins?
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we were just talking to Andrew Klavan about the importance of joining the battle for, culture. Politics downstream from culture, him referencing what Andrew Breitbart used to say, and that's exactly right. It's the law follows culture. It's not the other way around. And so thinking about that at the K through 12 level, how about your schools? You paying attention? We've been all over this story at New Trier, this left-wing school district run by left-wing voters making hundreds of thousands of dollars, 15 administrators making like basically $200,000 to $400,000. One high school. I mean, it's 4,000 students, but one high school district. Oh, by the way, we also, over at northcooknews.com, paper I co-founded.
Side hustle.
Looked at the campaign contributions of all New Trier school district employees.
Yeah.
98% of New Trier school district employees, 98% of their federal campaign contributions have gone to Democrats. Who's in charge? What are they doing? And so this race seminar day they want to do the end of this month, which is just apologize for being white day. Of course, it's all radical left. Of course it is. And so, people paying attention and joining the fight when it comes to who is influencing and shaping your children, for example. That's what Klavan was talking about, the cumulative effect of sports and Hollywood movies and television. Here's a letter, one parent who's standing up, Facebook post. This is Robert Blackwell. I am a black parent of a child at New Trier. I'm offended that Black Lives Matter was invited to speak at the school. The organization doesn't represent black people. Wow. It's not the moral equivalent of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which was led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he goes on to chastise everything that this left-wing cabal that runs New Trier, and apparently tolerated by the parents, at least up until now, is trying to promote. He goes on to write about Black Lives Matter. This group does not represent the best of black Americans and does not advocate anything that has a track record of making Black Lives Matter. If you want to hold a seminar on socialism, then invite whoever you want, but don't have a seminar on race and invite socialists that have no other message except America and white Americans in particular are evil. And it just takes a few right-thinking people that are willing to stand up, like Mr. Blackwell, to turn the tide. Maybe it's turning in New Trier.
Hi, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. And I'm also the host of the IRS Radio Hour.
And I'm Jim Leahy, the co-host of the IRS Radio Hour.